On. Fuck it, we're rolling.
Welcome back, GhettoRig episode number 62. 911, what's your emergency? By popular demand, we brought back our friend Laz, and we're gonna dive a little deeper into a life of an EMT and then future. Oh shit! Sorry guys, I had the monitoring on, so you all heard the double voice. But
We're rolling.
in the future,
Welcome
firefighter,
back,
right?
GhettoRig
Nice.
episode number
So,
62.
we'll ask a bunch of questions about that, like introductions and stuff like that.
62.
But first, before we go into it,
911, what's
you
your
had a question for me.
emergency?
Yes, these
By
are
popular
Fabletics.
demand,
I
we
really
brought
like
back our
them, just like
friend
any
Laz,
workout clothing.
and,
They're pretty nice.
we're
I've
gonna
never
dive
worn
a little
really
deeper
Lululemon,
into
so I don't
a
know what they
life
feel
of
like to
an
compare it.
EMT
And
Real
then
quick. Don't it feel weird to have the headphones on? Feels like we haven't started yet,
It
right?
does.
Sorry
Yes.
guys,
Right?
it doesn't feel like
Yeah. I feel like there's no pressure in my head.
But so the thing with Fabletics is the way they have it set up, it's called what's a membership service, right? So you register for the membership service, and the first month of first
these are
month will
Fabletics.
give it to you for
I
free.
really like them.
And then after that, they charge you $60 a month, which gives you a credit, and then throughout the month you can buy something for that one credit, or you can just accumulate the credits and then buy shit later. But you're paying $60 a month.
It does.
Right? So now, when they do give you this membership,
I feel like
let's say
there's no
a pair of
pressure in
pants
my
is
head.
$100, but with the membership, it's
the
only
thing with
$20.
Fabletics is,
So what I did, I got the membership for
way
free
they have
for
it
1
set up,
week,
it's
and just went on there and bought a bunch of shit.
So you register for
Like,
the membership
and
service.
I realized that throughout the month, the only thing that changes is the color. Nothing else changes. Like the actual design or things, they don't change. It's the same. So the colors are the ones that change, and then once in a while they'll bring in like special colors, and that's the only thing.
So now,
And the pattern of the colors different, not the actual pattern of the material, right? So what I did, I just bought a bunch of shit. So ended up spending like $200 for $1,000 worth of shit, basically. And when you ask me, like, did you pay $1,000? No, I didn't. Although it did cost $1,000 if I were to buy like direct from the website. But you get the membership, and then what you do is you call them back and you tell them to basically cancel if you don't want to keep it, right? And they'll tell you like, okay, cool. Do you want to put it on pause? Because every month I can technically get the membership,
Emily said something
have the
sounds
membership,
weird.
and put it on pause, which means they will not charge me until I tell them. But then every month I gotta go back and put it on pause every month. So forget it, they're gonna charge you for it, right?
Go to.
I was like, listen,
When
I'm
you
a
go
dude.
to
I
Lazaro,
rarely shop. I rarely buy stuff, and when I do buy it in bulk. This way I have it all. So I already bought like four pairs of running pants, 4 pairs of shorts, couple of t-shirts, couple of polos, couple of golf pants and stuff like that. So I bought it all, and I was like, you know, have the membership, put it on, and then I just put a stop to it. So yes, no. That's the. But then every month I gotta go back and put it on pause. And like, forget it, they're gonna charge you for it. Now, if you want to do it again, I'm a dude. I rarely shop. I rarely buy stuff, and when I do buy it in bulk. This way I have it all. So I already bought like 4 pairs of running pants, 4 pairs of shorts, couple of t-shirts, couple of polos, couple of golf pants and stuff like that. So I bought it all, and I was like, you know, have the membership, put it on, and then I just put a stop to it. So yes, no. That's the. But then every month I gotta go back and put it on pause. Forget it. That's the basic. Oh, see, Emily's already talking about. Hi guys, Lazaro. What's up, guys? Hey Emily. Something sounds weird. It's like double. It's weird. Any better? No. It's like an echo almost. Couple of golf pants. So I bought it all, and I was like, you know. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Now. I like those, but then yeah, that's yeah.
Is it maybe because it's getting some type of audio from this road?
Hey Emily, something sounds weird. It's like double. It's weird. Guys, sorry about the audio. We're trying to figure this out right now. Emily, give us some feedback if you see if it's getting taken care of or not.
I don't know what you're talking about, babe. I'm really being honest. 'Cause I've been listening to it on my phone this whole time, regardless of us like talking over each other. It sounded fine.
Is it maybe because it's getting?
I ain't gonna lie. It sounded fine on my phone.
This road?
Yeah, so alright, let's just continue and then we'll see what's going on from there, you know what I mean? Anyway guys, don't forget subscribe, like, share, whatever you guys know this right now. Anyway, Lazaro. So so you're part of the
Oh, babe, I know what it is. It's because ready. So I'm playing the YouTube video on the stream PC. What she meant, like, it sounds like double. That I thought people were just talking.
Audio?
It's capturing the audio from the stream PC, so it's picking up. That's all it is. Ready? It will be fixed right now. So you guys should be good now. And if it sounds quiet, let us know in the chat. I had Miggy bump down some volume, so if it sounds quiet, let us know. We will bump it back up.
All right, cool.
I gotta fix that.
Problem
Don't
solved.
worry.
I think it's actually fixed now.
All right,
cool.
Sorry.
So we're good to go.
We're
Sorry,
good to
guys.
go.
Again,
Sorry about that.
our friend Lazaro, he's an EMT, future aspiring firefighter. Now, tell us, how did you get into being? Well, let's start with this. Like, what's your background? Where are you from? Like, where were you born? You know, things like that.
I'm Cuban.
Nice.
I moved to St. Pete when I was in like 11 years old.
From Cuba or
From
somewhere
Miami.
else? From Miami.
Yeah, I came.
Were you
from
born
Cuba.
in Miami?
No, I
No.
came from Cuba when I was 3.
Okay.
So.
So you basically grew up in the United States.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You Americano.
Yes. Lived in Miami, then moved up here to St. Pete when I was.
Hi, Leah. Let me get.
Yes, Hialeah, where every Cuban lives. So I worked at Home Depot. It was my first job, and I worked there from I was a senior in high school, so I was like 18
Man, you worked there for a long time then.
for 9 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
From 8. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 29.
No shit.
Yes.
I thought you were younger than that. Holy fuck. Okay, bro.
Yeah, I'm old.
I guess
it's
this
fun-
Cuban don't crack shit.
It's funny because I was thinking today about like the pod today, and I was like, how old is he? Because I was like, he's older than me, but he's not that close to me. But I was like, he's not like Jay's age. Like, how old is he? No,
Exactly, like
no,
Jay's
no
fucking ancient.
offense.
No, I am ancient. I'm 40.
But yeah, like, so you're right in the middle, right? So.
Right in the middle. I'm 29. I just turned it in June.
How far did you go with the Home
Oh,
Depot?
really? So you
Was it
birthday
easy to work there, or you were just
I
kind of like
hated
doing
it.
your thing?
I
And
started off pushing carts in the lot. And from there I didn't like it. It was hot. It was in the summer. They moved me to lumber. Hated lumber because contractors are assholes.
Here we go,
So then from there they moved me to doors and windows. I was there majority of the time. I would argue with my coworker here and there, so like I would just leave to a different department. But I always come back to doors and windows. Like they would put me in the service desk. I was there for 6 months. Horrible.
yeah, I bet, because
'Cause
you're not
people-
really dealing with. You're usually dealing with complaints. Yeah.
And
100%,
returns and
yeah.
all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was in doors and windows for like 7 years, like consecutively. And then one of my buddies became a cop, and I was like, I started thinking about it because he was convincing me of becoming a cop. I was like, I don't think that's what I want to do. I don't want to get shot at personally. So I go, what's something else? So I started looking into EMT because I've always liked the nursing field, but I don't like school, so I'm not gonna, because you need a shit ton of schoolwork done for that.
For which one?
Nursing.
Nursing, yeah.
So EMT, like
Oh, you
emergency.
get away with probably 2-year degree, but still, it's
Yes.
pretty competitive. Mhm.
So I started looking into EMT, and this lady worked at Sunstar. She went to Home Depot, and I ordered her doors and windows, and she finally convinced me. And I started doing. I went to Del Mabry in Hillsborough Community College, and yeah, it's only EMT program. It's only
13 months or something like that, right?
No, it's less than that.
Oh,
I
it's
started
less than
in June, and December we graduated.
Oh
It's only
shit!
6 months, yeah.
Oh shit! Okay.
So it's quick. It's 6 months. So like they pack everything down, and then I went to the fire academy. I went through SPC, and the fire academy is also 6 months if you go part time. If you go full time, it's 3 months. I went part time because we used to go every other day, and so that was fine because I was still working full time at Home Depot at the time. So I did that, and now I work as an EMT. I left Home Depot after 9 years, and now I've been at my job for 2, going on to 3 in February.
So talking about firefighting, I know because I've had some friends that became firefighters,
Mhm.
and the biggest thing for them was like, hey man, finding a job that's close to home. So majority of them started doing the job like out, like they would drive 45 minutes to an hour to get somewhere, but then they were able to transfer over.
Yeah.
So you like, so don't, basically what I'm trying to say, don't get discouraged. Even if you have to take that, go ahead and do that, because there's like light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Might not be as quick as you want it to be, but it will. And once it does, my buddies are like super happy. Like they're like, bro, you can make a decent living, up to 6 figures a year. You know what I mean? And like very good pension, very good retirement, very good healthcare. So they're saying that it's like a really awesome job if you do the firefighting. And majority of the time, you're not really dealing with like all kinds of like fuck ass fires, like
no,
like you know in the movies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? When like when you're running into
Most of the stuff you do is not firefighting,
it's
right?
more EMS, like medical.
Yeah.
Only like 10% is fire.
Really?
Nowadays, yeah.
That the response that they do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you got into like go take us through like what do you? So your initial motivation for this has always been to be a firefighter, right? Like, or did you start this journey because you're something else?
I started this journey because I wanted to be a nurse, but I didn't want to do
the
all
whole
that
school
schooling.
thing, right? But I felt like I remember you before starting the EMT thing. You kind of had the goal.
Yeah, firefighter was always in the back of my mind. I
There
just
you go.
didn't know.
Right? I feel like I remember that before. So, being a firefighter, you got the whole EMT thing. What else do you have to? What are the other process you have to go through? Like, what's first? What's next? You know, to then get your go to firefighter school.
So you have to take prereqs because I graduated high school in 2013. So there was a big time lapse before I went back to college.
Right.
So I had to take my prereqs again. So I take my prereqs, do my EMT school, and then firefighter school.
Okay.
And now I can just start applying. But the thing is,
Did you have to like break the door with like they have a
yes,
piece of wood in it? You have to break the door,
Yes.
like where you stuck your
Like
you
forced
stick your
entry,
axe in,
yeah.
and then
The Halligan.
yeah.
What are the coolest things you did in firefighter school?
Fire Academy. I guess car
Fire
fire.
academy, right? Car fire.
Yeah, car fire, yeah, because you had a partner and they have like this metal box looking car, like it's cut off as a car, and they obviously it's controlled, like it's with propane,
Yeah.
but you get them really close, like you feel the actual heat coming. It's cool.
So
And like the burn building, because it's like it's set up like an apartment, but everything is obviously metal, like the metal couch, metal
with
bed.
going to school for being an EMT before that,
Mhm.
was the classes a lot of hands-on, or was it mostly like learning like anatomy and shit like
We
that?
had, so my lectures were in the morning, and it was when the whole COVID thing was going on, so it was 2020. So I was doing online lectures at my house from 9 to 12, and then at 12:30 I would have to be in Tampa for my actual lab,
Okay.
and it would go from 12 to 5 in the afternoon.
Wait, 12:30? You had 30 minutes to get to Tampa?
Because I didn't know at the time, because I signed up for the class before COVID.
Jesus Christ.
So like the instructors knew I was coming from St. Pete, so like they cut me some slack.
Okay.
You were getting there late every day, huh?
Yeah, but I wasn't like 5-6 minutes late.
Okay.
Like,
No,
it wasn't
nothing
that
crazy.
bad.
Yeah. What was like the biggest thing that stood out to you in the EMT school that you actually like use a lot today? Like, cause I'm sure they taught you a bunch of stuff that was bullshit, right? Or everything they taught you is like you use it all the time.
I guess it all depends. So like where I work, unfortunately, like we don't use the medications that we learn as an EMT.
Okay.
But here in St. Pete, like the ambulance services here, like they do use them.
Right. So you've explained that to us before, how the different systems work between
Yeah.
St. Pete and Tampa. I'll go into that a little bit. Like you don't take certain calls and then St. Pete.
Correct. So like in Tampa where I work, we respond with county.
Okay.
And if it's like a dumb call, like someone stubbed their toe or like things like that, minute. Because you'll be surprised what people call for.
Real quick though, what's the dumbest thing they've called for? You've had to show up for.
That's not the dumbest thing, but like...
But, like,
Because it's
most
always their emergency. Like it's their emergency. Like
right, I get that. But like for you, what's the thing that you showed up and like, did you really call someone for this?
ampites.
Really?
It was a grown ass man, and it was honestly on Sunday. Like I was working with this chick, we were already running late, like back to base.
How
and
bad?
we get dropped nothing. Like this guy was fine. Like he
Oh
was in
my
his mid
God.
40s. It was just ampites on his leg.
But was he allergic to this? No.
I mean, everybody's allergic to an extent to ampites, but like he wasn't going anaphylaxis or nothing.
That's the
Like,
whole thing of that bite, right?
didn't
Is
need-
the
yeah.
allergic reaction.
So what was his thing? Is he was thinking he's dying, or he didn't know
Yeah.
what to
I
do?
was today years old when I realized that I was allergic to ants.
Well, I mean, you're not. You're getting an immune reaction, like the swelling
Yes,
and that's.
but, like,
But there's
Yeah,
some
that's
people, like
fine,
for
like-
example, that are actually like ultra sensitive to these things. So that would be like what they would consider allergic
Yeah,
to
like,
that action.
where you need a.
like a little rash, I don't call allergic to. Yeah, like, but like your throat is not closing up. Like you don't
Yeah.
need an actual EpiPen, like
Yeah.
and things like that. Like I feel like you can go to the hospital.
And he
if
was
you
he like
have-
screaming and crying, or he was kind of just
No,
chill
he was
about it.
just chill about it.
And what did he want you to do?
To take him to the hospital.
What?
And like, some of the calls are dumb. Like, we had this lady. She was my age.
Listen. You're a better man than I am. I'd have handled him like each can be like, yo, apply this. I'll bill you for that.
Yeah, we get paid, and like we're already running an hour late. So I mean, what's an extra 3 hours late? You know, like, whenever you go to the hospital, people think like if you're going by an ambulance, you're gonna get a room quick. No, I waited at a hospital the other night 6.5 hours for a bed. And you're just there.
You have to wait there.
Yeah.
You have to wait there with them. You can't just
because the patient is yours. He's your responsibility. She's your responsibility
so
until they take over.
A couple nights ago, I was working till like 1:30 in the morning, and at 10 o'clock, I took this patient to the hospital. This hospital has a bad record of always being delayed, but it was across the street. Our end of shift was at 11:30. It was 10 o'clock. We left there at 2:30. My supervisor was sending another crew to meet us there to take over the patient because we were already an hour like after end of shift. So like things like that, like the supervisor will send you back up so you can guys leave and stay with the patient.
Sure. And you guys are through a private company. You're not,
correct?
Right?
Yeah, we're through a private company.
Okay, and that's cool. So now, not that y'all guys said already the locations and shit. I don't want to ask the questions I have. Y'all ruined it.
I mean, we live so we weren't supposed to say even like Tampa Bay area. Like I mean
that's fine. Yeah.
Tampa Bay area is how many counties?
Yeah, no, it is.
So
2.
No, I mean what they really.
Oh well, just
hey,
make it easier for them, huh?
Hey, I was trying to fluff it for you. No.
What was your question?
No. It's all good.
Go ahead. Just go ahead. If you can't answer, you can't answer.
I think everybody would want to know, like, is it always true that there's a medical emergency that, like, the ambulances or fire trucks go through red lights?
So, yes and no. So, for example, like, for my company, if you go lights and sirens to a call that you're not supposed to, because in my company, you only go lights and sirens for NVAs, which is, like, car crashes. That's the only thing you go lights and sirens for. But we do get canceled, so then we just have to shut them off, and then we do look like assholes. Because we just have to shut them off.
No, I'm talking about, like, when you're driving up to the red light.
Though.
Oh, cops.
Cops do. Like, we don't, because if we do cause an accident, the company charges you like $10,000.
Oh shit!
Like if you're not supposed to be going live.
Yo, where the fuck is my money? I have my complaints. I made a call and I got the cops later at the end of the day, and they were like,
"You waited though."
What?
Like you should have called the cops.
I called the cops immediately. I was recovering. What do you mean?
Recovering
if you
what?
almost get hit by an ambulance and you're ejected off of your bike because of the ambulance, what the? Midair. Hey.
So what happened to that
shit?
This is news to me.
What happened?
So you got wrecked by an ambulance.
Did you get wrecked or did they clip you or no?
I've heard this story.
No, so I didn't get clipped. What happened was...
What happened was...
what happened was...
Hi, Luz.
It was... I don't want to say the location, but there was a bridge, right? And there was a light, and I started going. And the ambulance didn't have any sirens or anything, so it was coming down from the bridge. I was already going about 25 miles per hour.
On a bike?
Yeah, on my little Grom.
What?
Yeah.
How fast were you pedaling?
What do you mean?
No, it was a motorcycle.
Yeah, it was a motorcycle.
On your bike. I thought it's a bicycle.
Yeah, it was a motorcycle. So it got in front of me. I braked super hard, and I kind of got ejected off. And then after that, I go to the side. The ambulance stops for a second. They're like, "Are you good?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to stop them. They're probably going towards an emergency." And I'm like, "Yeah."
That's why you fucked up.
You should have said no.
No, I'm not okay.
I'm dying.
So after that, I called 911, and then they send the ambulances over. They do a checkup on me, and they're like, "Well, what else would you like us to do? You're good." And I'm like, "I don't know. Can I have the phone number to your supervisor or something so that I can make such a complaint?" They gave me the number. I called, and then the cops showed up on my house, and they were like, "No, I mean, we would have actually charged you because it's failure to stop to an emergency vehicle."
But it's not an emergency. What does it call it? What do they call it? Emergency.
Did they have their lights and sirens on?
No sirens, only lights.
Yeah.
They turned on their lights as soon as they were about to. Obviously, I couldn't see them, but as soon as they were going down, but there was no sirens. I couldn't hear anything.
That's what I was asking. You know, though, people will pull up to the red light, they'll turn the lights on, and then it'll just go when it's a red light. Because before that, they were not doing that. They'll do that, I guess, if they're going to a call.
Doing that. Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
That's
I don't
what
know.
I was
I've seen ambulances. I feel like that. But I feel like they are in emergency capacity, whatever it is. Like that, they have somebody that they just don't want to be blasting sirens when it's not needed, right? Like they only put it on
Correct,
for the
yeah.
light to get through, and then pass by and turn it
Like
off.
in neighborhoods and stuff like that. Like we don't use.
Yeah.
When I was little, I used to think like whenever you turn them on, like you control you can make the lights go green.
Oh, so there's only like
No,
certain
you don't.
settings.
Yeah.
Do the certain settings mean certain things? I'm assuming. Like, what do they do?
No, like we just have 3 settings. It's like T1, T2, and T3. It's just
The
T3
intensity.
is very annoying. Like
Intensity,
yeah.
basically, very loud and okay.
Have you ever had to turn that on?
Oh yes, because people where I work at, there's a certain area people are just dumb, like they don't like at all. Like you're blaring the horn and they just stop in the middle of the road, and like you can't go anywhere because they're stopped. The person next to you is stopped, and like you just have to go over the grass.
Oh, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Instead of
They
them
block
pulling
you, like,
away,
correct.
like pull over, like they're like just freeze up.
Because in a perfect world, everybody would merge right.
Yeah.
That's
There
what
you
we
go.
want.
Yeah,
Like,
I
to
just
merge
heard-
right.
I hear the sirens. I speed up. And my excuse is I need to get over. That's what I do.
Yeah, like, just
Ah,
merge
shit.
right, and everybody will be happy.
What's up? How are you?
Yeah, I got you.
Will you close
No.
the door, please? Thank you.
So crazy. So I know. So okay. Can you explain the difference between there's an EMT, then there's another level up, paramedic?
There you go. That's the word it is. I was thinking of it.
So every department, once you get hired as a firefighter, they require you to become a paramedic within 3 years.
Okay.
So and if you don't become a paramedic in 3 years, then they basically give you the boot. But
In a fire department.
correct. So in Manatee County, you don't. That's the only department that I know of here in Florida that you do not have to become a paramedic because they have their own Manatee County EMS that they work with firefighters, and all firefighters are just EMT firefighters down there.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: as far as the pay goes, obviously paramedic will get paid more.
Correct.
Okay. Now, is there another level up?
Not from
Hey
paramedic,
guys, don't
no.
forget to hit like and
Now,
subscribe.
in the duties
comment
of
in
a
the chat. We
paramedic,
want to know you're
what is
there.
the difference between an EMS and a paramedic? Like,
So-
how far can you go as an EMS versus paramedic?
So, paramedics give more medications, a shit ton more. Like they can start IVs, fluids. I mean, they're pretty much nurses, like essentially.
So
at that
how we were
point.
talking about like 2 different locations that function by 2 different rules. One location, one area, right? Will kind of be like everybody has to be a paramedic and everybody functions by that, and then where you were it's kind of like split, right? Like, well, because you were saying that they handle like things that are more intense.
So like
and,
here, it's just weird. So like here, cause my dad he went to the hospital. The firefighters came to my house.
okay.
She was a paramedic, and then the ambulance company came, and where I work at, you just transfer the care to them, cause there's obviously a paramedic there. So, but here they don't. Like, the firefighter had to ride in the ambulance because they can't transfer care to another paramedic for whatever reason, and which is just odd because
It's probably like the
Liability,
bureaucracy
yeah.
or liability or whatever.
because where I work,
insurance.
you just transfer care and call it a day.
Hmm. Okay. And paramedics technically they can do IVs and things like
Correct.
so a little more. Let's say if you have to do the defibrillator and things like that, those are the paramedics, not you guys.
No,
So
like
not,
the AD and stuff.
I don't know what
No,
that
like,
is.
so like chest compressions.
No, not necessarily. Let's say you need to, like, if a person is choking and the only way to do it is to intubate them. and
Intimate,
things.
yeah. So like we have like something called a king tube and like OPA, NPA. Like NPA, you shove it up the nose. OPA, like you shove it in the mouth, but it's just to hold the tongue from like flapping back.
So
And
they
then you
don't
can do
choke.
like BVMs, like when they're dead.
Mm.
So the king tube, you just shove it in there. It's just one way. It goes in. Like paramedics, like yeah, like they have their own little cameras that they go in to actually intubate like correctly.
Mm.
But when push comes to shove, like if someone dies in the back of the ambulance, if you have a king tube, just shove it on there and start like the BVM.
BVM is the little
like
little
the little
baggie.
bag, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And that's only if the person's like,
You
okay,
wanna
there's
bring
no
down this
signs of
arm
life.
just a little
Correct.
bit.
Yeah, I
Bring
can
down that arm just a little bit.
Now, with paramedics, they would do that
That's
before a person goes dead, basically, because
No. Yeah, no, because
So-
you will start gagging if you're alive. Because that's why the NPA is for. Because if you suspect that someone's dead and like you shove the OPA, someone's gonna gag, like an overdose or something. So you just shove it up their nose and like it's fine.
Mm.
So you can start giving breaths
So-
for them.
So as far as the overdose goes, so obviously this is a big deal. Like overdosing on medication, overdosing on fentanyl, overdosing on drugs. How often do you deal with that?
Personally, like where I work at, none, because it's always the firefighters take it, like the paramedics. But like I'll be in line, like waiting for a hospital bed, and like I hear like they're there with an overdose, and like the cop always show up with overdoses, and like the cop followed the rescue to the hospital. When this guy came back, he was just yelling at the poor guy. Well, not poor, because this is his 6th overdose. And like this cop has had run all of his 6 overdoses.
Really?
Like,
he's the one that's always attending him.
So you basically never had to do a Narcan.
I'm like, I ain't going back there.
They seem
Y'all
to go.
another motherfucker.
They seem to go to the same places very often. Like it's like you come here often. Like
So you never have to do a Narcan or anything like that.
No.
That's paramedic's job.
Like where I work at, we don't have, the only medication we have is oral glucose, which is,
You said baby Tylenol, right?
and we got rid of that too now. So like where I work at, we have oral glucose, which comes like in a neosporin looking shape tube. It's just like someone
sugar.
has sugar. Yeah, like if you have low blood sugar, like to the point like they're like acting stroke like they're unresponsive, you just squeeze the tube in and that's it.
Into their mouth, basically.
Yeah. Like
And is it an older community? That's why, or is it?
like for that?
No.
Why is it
your
that you guys
location is
only
older.
have
Because we used to do only like interfacility transports. So like we would do discharges from hospital, take minor 911 calls. And like we just got the contract. So like I don't know if we're gonna, like we just got the contract with county. The 911 contract like for BLS. Because the county where I work at, like they're always gonna take the ALS calls. So like if you have someone, like we get to on scene, like the guy had a stub toe. Yeah, that's what he called for. But his blood pressure now is 275 over 120.
Oh shit! Yeah,
like,
it's high
you
blood
have
pressure.
to call
Yeah.
county and they have to come and take it like the paramedics do.
Got you.
Like we can't transport it because like they have first dibs on the ALS calls.
Got you.
So we just have to wait there, like basically with our hands crossed, waiting for like we can transport to the hospital. The hospital's 5 minutes on the road. Like we still have to wait for them.
So you basically the EMS. So if I understand this correctly, you know the basics of saving someone's life,
Correct.
whether it's chest compressions, this and that.
Yes.
But you don't go any further than that because even though if you knew how to do it, but because you didn't have the schooling per se of the paramedic. And what's the schooling for paramedic?
It's a year.
Year. Okay.
So it's a year and
Full time, I'm assuming.
yeah, like you would
2 semesters.
tell you
full
to-
Does
time.
the does the company pay for it?
depending like if you get hired like through a fire department, like yeah, they pay you to they put you through school.
That's
So
cool.
that's cool. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. All right.
Real
That seems pretty legit.
Real quick, everybody in the chat, thank you for coming in. Arthur, Bailey, my mom. I saw Lynette was in there. Emily, thank you guys for joining us. I see there's 9 people in the watching right now. Let us know you're here. Say something in the chat. Make sure to drop a like. So, what was like the first thing when you started working as an EMT? What was like the first crazy thing that like cemented like the first crazy story or
The first crazy
event?
story. Okay, the event. Okay. So, I started off working because I was still at Home Depot, and my days permanently at work at where I work now was only on Fridays. So my set days was Fridays because I'm part time right now, but I just pick up like you can pick up as many shifts as you want. So I had a set partner on Fridays. Every Friday it was the same guy. We did a call. So we swap, like 6 hours or like one drives for 6 hours.
So how long are you guys' shifts?
It depends. Like on Fridays, my shifts are 13 hours.
So you guys do like 12 kind of
So we do 6 and 6.
6,
So like 6 hours, one drive, 6 hours, and someone's in the back of the patient. So I was driving and it was his patient. So we get to the VA. They're everywhere, like the veterans hospitals. We got to one of the veterans hospitals. For me, like the veteran, like yeah, they're great, but like the psych patients, I'm terrified of the psych patients from the VA. They're just a whole nother
That
level.
Agent Orange did a number on some of them, yeah, for sure.
So
y'all know what's Agent Orange, right?
No.
So during Vietnam, United States basically, like they were having a hard time fighting in the jungle. So what they did, they just sprayed the jungles with this thing called Agent Orange, right? To like, I think it was either kill the trees or whatever to make it easier for the fighting, right? But then what happened? This was actually toxic, and it hit our own soldiers. So a lot of these guys came back with a bunch of fucking health issues, and because of this fucking Agent Orange.
Got you. So you don't
I
like
was skinny on it.
you don't like psych VA patients. Okay.
So we get to the VA, and so my partner, he's doing the report. So he's looking for the nurse to get paperwork and stuff, because we were transferring him to the state mental hospital, which is up north. It's between like the border of Florida and Georgia.
Oh
Like
shit!
it's far.
It's
Oh,
like Valdosta.
shit.
Yes, so it's up there. So we had to take him.
Or it's
all the
right
way
next
up
door.
there.
We don't even know where we're at.
So we had to take him all the way up.
And the entire time, is he sitting or is he laying down?
Yeah, so
Long drive.
my partner, he can't find the nurse. So some random lady at the desk gave him the paper or the packet. I go in to take the vitals, because normally, like in the psych, there's always someone watching you. Like the patient care tech is always sitting at your door watching. I don't know where that patient care tech was. I go in, take this guy's blood pressure, vitals. He doesn't move at all. Like he's just sleeping. So I go tell my partner, hey, like there's no one sitting there. So because I was gonna ask, like, he's obviously sedated for a reason. Like he's sedated. So no one was there. So
Because he wasn't moving when you were doing the vitals.
like he was just sleeping. So the nurse didn't know, because his nurse was at lunch. Always happens. The nurse now doesn't know why he was sedated.
Oh.
So we were about to
put that shit on
find out
paper?
real quick. So we load him. We slide him over. Like we slide him to our stretcher. He doesn't wake up through the whole process at all. So we load him in the back of the ambulance.
And
We
he still hasn't
sit him
woken
up.
up?
No, we sit him up completely because he's obviously sedated. Like we don't want him choking or anything, like spit. So he's sitting up completely. At this point, like he's sitting up like this. There's a captain's chair. So like if I'm sitting right here, this is the captain's chair. Like the wall is right here, and the driver's behind me, and the patient's sitting in front of me.
Okay.
But like I can't see the patient because he's sitting up.
Yeah, facing the back of the van, just like.
So like we have like a little window in the wall, like to communicate back and forth. Like my partner I don't know what he was doing.
So I thought you guys can go through that.
No. Some ambulances, like the big box ones, some of them have an opening there, like a little sliding door, but most of them don't. It's just a little window. So I don't know what my partner was doing.
So you don't drive in the big box?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
But you just doesn't have that.
We
door.
have
Okay.
over there. We have those. We have transits, and we have like the one that look like school bus, like vans. Like
Gotcha.
the little,
Yeah, that's the
the
short
ugly
bus.
ones. Yes. So my partner, I don't know what he was doing, and all I hear him pull over. We're on the middle of I-4, mind you. This guy wakes up, starts taking his seatbelt, and starts grabbing the cabinet, everything from the cabinet, and throwing it at my partner. He's just back there by himself. So then he comes into the little window, starts pulling my shirt. So I pull over in the middle of I-4.
The patient did this shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling over.
Yeah.
I get out. My partner gets out. He obviously comes out. So like on our phone, like our work phone, like we have a little button on the side. It's a little red button. Like you press it, dispatch calls you, and they send everyone. They send cops. They send firefighters. Send rescues. Everything.
Helicopters,
The whole
jets.
9 yards. So I press it. Dispatch calls me. He goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "I'm in the middle of I-4 walking on the median because this patient's behind us saying he's gonna murder us. Like literally, he was walking behind us.
following you guys.
Yes, saying like he was gonna slam our heads together and kill us. So like we're walking. I guess he got tired of following us, so he went back to the ambulance. He peed everywhere and destroyed the whole ambulance. Like everything in the back was destroyed, peed on. So then fire cops, everybody gets there. Another medic came, like because I wasn't working with a medic. I was just working with an EMT. A medic from my company came and like they ended up transporting him because they can sedate the guy.
Yeah.
We can't sedate him.
Yeah, you don't have that.
Yeah.
Your
No.
baby,
And then
your
we got
baby Tylenol. Ain't gonna.
and then we got written up because
Open your mouth. Go like this.
we shouldn't have taken him. Come to find out, because like he was sedated. Like a long story short, like he was sedated. It should have been an ALS call. So we learned that from the get go.
And also, that was your first thing.
That was my first. Like I was walking on the middle.
I thought I had asked you the other day if you ever had a patient like attack you. You said no.
I mean, I never got hit.
I mean, this is pretty close, though.
He's good at dodging. He's good at
trying.
dodging.
So I was walking on the side of the road, and I was thinking to myself, man, at Home Depot this wouldn't be happening.
There's a lot of things that wouldn't be
Let
happening.
me ask you this. So, a couple of years back, I went on a trip, and on this trip, there was this girl who was a nurse,
Okay.
and they were talking hella shit. How nurses are smarter than doctors. Majority of the time, they know better than what doctors are doing. The doctors are doing this and that. I'm not taking away that you have to be pretty smart to be a nurse, right? But like from what it seems like, the nurse is on lunch. This person is not here. Like it doesn't seem like that they're in that.
No, honestly, I would agree on that though. Like some nurses are on top of their shit. Like we went to the hospital the other day. This lady fell in the mall. Hispanic lady.
Mm-hmm.
She's obviously going to sue.
Yeah.
Because she slipped and hit her head somewhere. So we get to the hospital. She obviously can't, she's complaining. Everything hurts. Like her whole right side hurts. The doctor
Was she
comes.
Dominican?
She actually was Dominican. So she's complaining.
The Dominican exaggeration is very similar to Armenian exaggeration. You know what I mean? You'll be waiting for like 3 minutes. Like, you can't believe, bro, I was there for 3 fucking hours.
So this lady basically can't really talk at all. Like, she had a lot of blush on, like makeup on. And my partner was like, yeah, like her face is red. I go, no, dude, like that's clearly makeup, first of all. Like her face is not red. So the doctor comes, points out the redness, and I go, dude, that's makeup. So the doctor calls a stroke alert. And the nurse comes, why a stroke alert? And we were like, we don't know. Because her whole right side was numb.
Okay.
So we did the whole stroke assessment with like the... we did the whole stroke
Isn't
assessment.
the left side that
It
stroke?
could be like either side.
Either side.
Yeah. Like, so we did the whole stroke assessment with the EOD, which is like the charge nurse, like in the ER. She goes, yeah, no, this fucking resident is stupid as fuck. Because why would he call stroke
That was a
alert?
resident, wasn't a doctor, right?
Yeah, but like in that specific hospital where we go to, that we wait for hours and hours, normally is residents. Like that's all they have. They have like one doctor and like 7 residents. So yeah, we didn't call it a stroke alert.
Residents
because
are
it was stupid.
just in case.
Yeah.
Well, the
Just in case.
residents,
Like they're learning.
the thing with the residents is like once you finish your med school, then
Yeah,
the residency is your
Yeah.
practice, right? And depending where you go, where you get assigned, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna be a cardiologist. Well, not really.
I
go ahead.
I had a crazy experience with some residents as well. There was a time where 2 of them poked my grandpa's eye to inject some medication because he had an infection in his eye. And he went out after the injection and he kind of like passed out.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, and he was out for about like 10, 15 seconds. They were looking at each other and they were like, is he okay? And the other guy was like, yeah, this is fine. This is one of the reactions. And then my grandpa like came up. And I was just translating. They were like, stay calm. This is going to happen. I was like, okay.
So the residence, the way it works, like you'll finish the school and then you'll go to residence. A lot of people are like, I want to become an anesthesiologist, I want cardiology, brain surgeon, whatever. And then you'll go through your residency. And then if you start concentrating and pushing in one area where you want to be, most likely we'll end up doing that. But the board will tell you what, like, you can want to be, let's say, anesthesiologist, but they'll be like, nah, you're only good for like general practitioner and things like that. So it's kind of like a catch-22. The majority of the time you'll get what you want. But
I mean, if you're going for to be a doctor, right? You're a hard worker, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, like if you want to work in let's say trauma, right? Which is where they take everyone. You know what I mean? Like first begins with trauma and then it goes to wherever it needs to go, right? Like if you you just constantly take like I want to train in trauma. I want to train in trauma. You start making friends.
I don't think anybody wants to go to trauma specifically.
Well, no. Well, see, the trauma part is. I think the trauma is. If you become just a regular cardiologist, it could be really boring. Trauma is like shit changes all the time. So you're always doing something that's like different. It's not the same. It's never the same. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
So like some people yearn for it. Some people want the stability, and some people are like, nah, man, I want to like do different things because I get bored. Like if I ever become a doctor, I'll probably go to trauma because I'd be bored with somebody like, oh, their blood pressure is high. Oh, next person's blood pressure is high too. Next person's blood pressure is low. You know what I mean? Like there's
So, what is like can you remember like the funniest or like? Here, actually, no. I have a better question. Do you have a patient that you constantly are going to pick up, like, and it's always some bullshit that you've picked up 5-6 times?
After we started the 911 contract, so we have this guy. He lives by by base, like where my station is at.
Okay.
I picked him up last Monday. I picked him up on Thursday, and I picked him up on Saturday. It's just so happened I worked all those days, and he called 911. It's obviously for similar things. So the first 2 times I took him to the same hospital where he wanted to go. He's complaining that he has he's complaining of leg pain, some weird shit like that.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with him. Like, he just goes to the hospital for anything. So
was he looking for like drugs or something, like trying
that's
to get
what
prescribed?
that's what the doctor was thinking at this point, because like
His
they came up
pain
to me. He
kinda
goes
thing,
like,
right?
I've had him every day this week. Like he's been like in the month. She told me like he's been here more than 27 times.
And what do they do with him when they send him home? And like
they
just
just
tell him,
discharge him. Like they
"You're
do
fine."
blood work and like discharge him. Yeah,
Okay.
and then
It could be, you could be like it could be mental issues. You know what I mean? Like, or you might have somebody that he likes in this little station. You know what I'm saying?
and, like he lives alone, which is like at some point like
Anytime he gets someone that's not Lazarito, hey, when does Laz work, by the way?
we had a bariatric patient. It's someone like the weighs like extremely heavy.
Okay.
So we had this crew that works with us. Like this guy would massage his feet, and
What?
One of the crew guys?
yes,
Massage the feet?
yeah, because this guy was huge. He weighed like 700 pounds. So he would ask for that specific crew to massage his feet, and like whenever like there was someone else that it wasn't him, like he was always ask us to massage his feet. We would obviously always say no. And like his house was disgusting. There was shit everywhere, and like that crew would get on the bed to like slide him over. Like we're not getting on the bed. Like there's fecal matter on the bed. Like I'm not getting on there.
Ew.
It was just,
Fucking
like
A,
whenever we
dude.
would have like a female, like he would always have to pee. And can I get graphic on the show?
You can
Yeah,
get as
you can
graphic
get
as you
okay.
want.
We want
So-
it.
The girls would have to like not
Dig
one
already,
because
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. Like when you're that much, like
Yeah,
it just
you gotta-
disappears. You have to
Yeah.
push it and put the urinal. And we have this girl that works there. I fucking love her. Like she's a bitch. She's blunt. So the guy was like, "Hey, like I have to pee. Can you push it in?" She goes, "You got me fucked up."
You got me
Oh,
fucked up.
shit.
That is a good reaction.
But like, is this something that you guys are supposed to do?
No,
I'll say,
no,
fuck off.
absolutely not.
Yeah, fuck off.
Like if you're
I ain't
nice,
getting paid
like,
for shit.
like if I'm waiting on the hospital wall for like hours, like if the guy has to go pee, like I would walk him to the bathroom, and like if he can't like walk, like I was sitting there with him, like
yeah,
holding him up so he doesn't fall.
or whatever, right?
But that's
I
the
ain't
extent of
touching
it.
his-
Like I'm going
I ain't-
to.
But see, the thing is, like, either you do this or then smell urine
I'd
the
rather
entire
him
time.
pee on. I'll clean it up after. Like we
I
had this.
actually probably would rather mop up pee than
Yeah.
have to.
Especially if it's not part of your job, right?
It's kind. It's just like you have to lift that stomach up and like.
it's like that's my side hustle. I'm not doing that right now.
this is gonna be bad, but do you have to like spray flour to find the wet spot to figure out where things are?
Wait, what?
No, nothing. There's this joke, so I know. Well, fuck it. There's this joke. They say like anytime you're gonna sleep with a big girl, you take a little bit of flour and you just toss it in the area to find the wet spot where it clumps up. That's where you need to go.
It's
Too much
almost
surface area, so you gotta dial it down.
Oh no. But yeah. No, guys, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at myself for being stupid, not at the joke. But
Oh no,
don't,
he's
don't
laughing
cancel
at,
us.
He's
We just started.
He's laughing at the joke.
it's almost like trying to find a little, pinch on your tire. When you get a flat.
Oh, you gotta spray the soap in water.
Yeah, you
and
gotta
see
put a
where
little
it
water and
bubbles
see
up.
where it spurts.
But yeah,
shit.
so that's no.
Fuck
yeah,
you
no.
guys.
No, bro.
Oh shit.
Oh, by the way, there's this thing. So apparently, every 20 to 30 pounds you lose, you gain an inch.
I heard something about that.
Yeah.
I heard something about that.
I don't know if this is true or not, but
I've heard this person that tried to act like a doctor on TikTok trying to say it and stuff like that. I highly doubt they were an actual doctor.
yeah. So I don't know. But all right, so you be doing that. So how do you like it so far? Is it
I like it.
so? Do you find yourself getting desensitized to some of the things, like because nurses will get desensitized to people dying, or like
Yeah, like I remember like the first guy that died. I was working with this chick I never worked with before. It was tough. Like I cried driving home, and the next day I worked.
So this guy passed away in the
Yeah,
the
but
van?
it was when we were doing IFTs, like
IFT. So what is this?
interfacility transports. Like we were taking him
Oh, okay. So
from
you
his house to hospice.
okay, and he damn.
to a hospice,
Yes. So like he was already gonna die,
Right.
but like him dying, like if he
In
would have
the-
died in the back of the ambulance, it would have been fine.
Oh,
But him
okay.
dying at his house and like the wife just yelling at me because like my partner was outside.
So when you guys showed up, and when you showed up,
He was alive. Yes.
And then in the process of
We couldn't get him the stretcher. Like the house was extremely crowded. Like we couldn't do turns with a stretcher to get into the bed, like into his room where he was. Because normally, like when someone's on hospice, they have the hospital bed in the living room. You just go in, load, and go. This guy was in the back room. There's turns. Like the stretcher doesn't turn. Like doesn't do 90-degree angles. And we just couldn't get to him. He couldn't sit on a stair chair, which is like what we used to bring down the stairs. He couldn't sit on that. We went to put him on the backboard, and when we put him on the backboard, that's when shit started going downhill, and we just left him there on the bed. Like, we comforted him until he just passed away. And, like, he had a DNR, so we don't have to do nothing.
Do not resuscitate.
Yeah, do not resuscitate orders. So you just...
So in the process of you guys trying to do this, he kind of just went out.
Yeah, he's just like, you can
If
see
they
him
have a DNR, what else you can do?
So
How do you know they have a DNR? Is that
part of their paperwork?
Yeah, it's like highlighter yellow, and like it's signed by the physician, signed by the patients, or like the POA.
POAs, yeah.
I see.
Man.
But it was just
Power attorney signs.
her yelling.
What?
Because
So
she was saying that we killed him. Like, he was already dying. You
No.
told me, like, the first time we walked through the door, you said, like, he is dying. Like, the hospice nurse said he wasn't going to make it through the day. It is now 12 o'clock at night.
oh
The
my
whole
God.
day has gone by. Like,
Yeah.
why are we going now? Like, just let the guy
Pass.
pass
in
in
his
peace.
house. Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think at that point, like, people are just looking somebody to
Yeah.
blame, because it, you know, they're
But, like,
probably.
What
that
if
was-
you think they would have? You think there's any kind of like maybe fraud there in a sense where they maybe knew he was gonna die already and brought you over on purpose, trying to get something out of that?
Well, no, I mean, it's a DNR. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
I
still
think
doing
so.
their job. Like, if they can't get the fucking, if they can't get the
right, it's
stretcher
already
in
a
there, I don't know how
DNR.
to.
And, yeah, like he
What are
dies,
they
I guess.
gonna do? Like, fold the stretcher up and
Yeah.
carry that shit over, and then
Basically, their job was just try and get him to the
So this
hospital.
guy
Like,
was-
for a lift assist. Like, the lift assist came, but as soon as the lift assist pulled up, like, he died, like, literally 3 seconds before they pulled up.
And
Because we needed more people. Because the guy weighed like 280, and he was 6'7". I'm only
Oh
5'3".
shit! Yeah.
Giant.
He was a big
that's a
dude.
big fucking
Yes.
dude.
How old?
yeah.
Older?
Yeah, he was like 80.
Oh, okay.
This
But-
guy, like when you guys showed up, could he talk? Was he coherent? or he was a
No.
vegetable
He
already
was,
the moment
like,
you guys
he
got
would
there?
answer like he didn't know where he was. Like, we do anal. Like, a normal person is anal times 4. So like you're.
I thought you were
orient-
saying anal. We do anal. I'm like, oh shit.
anal. So like you're alert and oriented times 4. So like you know where you're at. You know like the president, timestamps.
Yeah.
Like, things like that. Like he didn't know nothing. Like he was anal times 2. Like he knew where he was at, but he didn't know where he was going. Like nothing. Like he was
He's
just-
going to heaven. He's just
That's
going
where he went.
straight to heaven.
It's great to have it. Yeah, talking about that, like older people. The other day I was
Your
working.
what did the lady think that your partner was just by the bed trying to like get him and stuff, and whenever nobody was looking, he was just like, go, go. like why is she yelling at you guys? I don't get it.
She left the room because like when he died, I told my partner because he started coughing. So like I got in behind him, like set him up more. Like he was in a hospital bed sitting upward. So I just set him up more, and like his eyes just dilated. Like he had bright blue eyes, and it just dilated.
Became
and I-
black.
And I told my partner, she spoke Spanish, and I told her in Spanish, I think he died. Se murió.
Se murió.
So she leaves outside because she has to call MOD and just tell him that he's dead, basically, and like he has valid DNR and all that. The wife leaves the room and goes to the next room over. I'm chilling there alone with him, and she comes back in like literally 5 minutes later, yelling, like cussing me out, saying that we killed him, that she's gonna sue us, all this stuff. But like I mean, like my supervisor talked to me the next day. She's in denial. Like her husband just died. Like we don't know like how long they've been married. She had to take it off from somewhere, and I was the only one in the room.
Yeah, that's probably what
Yeah.
happened.
Oh man.
So talking about the older people, like the other day I was working in my office. You know, in my office is like, you know, the very back room. It faces the neighbors. Like I could see the neighbors, and I see this older lady. Well, this happened about a month and a half ago. This older lady, like super old, like super skinny. She started walking and going in the back of my neighbor's yard, and I knew she doesn't belong there. But they were outside and doing stuff, right? Like he was moving out. So the neighbor moved out and new neighbors came in, right? Like they bought the house. So, and then they realized that this lady's going to the back of the house, right? So they came out and I saw him like grab her hand and then walk her somewhere, right? So obviously she was lost.
Yeah.
Like she didn't know what's going on. And then the other day, I was sitting and I see the same lady again trying to go in the back of the house. And I get out and I'm like, hi, ma'am, are you okay? Is everything all right? She's like, yeah, I'm just going to this person's residence. I was like, I don't think this is their house. But what happened was 2 weeks ago or so, I saw her and two ladies just up the street in another home. So I knew this was lost, right? Like this lady was lost. I was like, all right, how about I help you to get there? And this lady was walking barefoot. It's 12 or like 1 o'clock barefoot in the afternoon, bro. So you know that concrete is hot as hell. And then that grass is not the golf grass either, you know. So I'm trying to help this lady to get there. And she's like, oh, my feet are burning. I was like, all right, let's step on the grass. Let's try to walk on the grass. So I'm going slower with her. Yeah. So I get to the house that I think is theirs, which I don't remember which house it was. I get to the house that I think is theirs. Like, do you remember what the house looks like? She's like, no, I don't remember. Now I'm in the middle of the day. No one is around. It's lunch hour in my neighborhood. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do?
You just kidnapped an old lady.
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, and I went and opened the door. I was like, can you recognize the inside the house? She's like, no, I can't recognize it. And then I saw neighbors in front. The lady's like, and they're like, hey, do you know if this is her home? Because she was lost. And I'm just trying to make it back. She's like, yeah, that's her home. She needs to go inside. I got her. So she came in, grabbed her, walked her inside. And I was like, dang.
So you were opening.
Thank God someone else came and took over.
Yeah, and I'm like, thank Jesus, I don't have to deal with this anymore. But yeah, but
it's sad though. Like
it is sad.
I was just thinking about like the moment you started telling the story. Imagine when you get like how like what is your brain?
For you, nothing. Like it's for your family members because you don't.
Yeah, because you start forgetting your kids.
But that starts to get frustrating too, right? Like, like if you can't even do the 4 things like you were talking about earlier. Like,
but like, I mean, at that point, like you have like a baby's mindset. Like, it's sadder for your people around you because they're seeing you deteriorate.
You can't party with them no more.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine whose dad had that, and he would just constantly like accuse him of stealing his keys, stealing shit from him because he would put it somewhere and then wouldn't remember where it is, and he would just blame everyone in the house that they took it away from him. And he's like, no, like this is not like, you know, it's sad, man. People
help.
No, it's sad. Like, that's one thing I'm scared of getting.
Yeah, because then like everybody's like you become a burden. You better have a very good health insurance, like or health, whatchamacallit, health. Yeah.
Like I remember seeing a few years back a family friend of ours started suffering from memory loss, and his decline was really, really, really fast. And I remember going to his house before they took him to the home, and like I could tell like he was putting on a facade in the sense of like acting like he knew these people. He didn't fucking remember them whatsoever, and it was weird because you could tell like it was a little frustrating for him to have to act like he knows these people and kind of knowing he knows these people, but then going, I can't remember you though. I can't remember you. I feel like that's frustrating. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. I could see the frustration within like the way he was acting. And then apparently he did. I mean, like a lot of them did start to get like aggressive in that sense because you get frustrated. You know, your knowledge starts to die down so much, but you kind of still have this base of like you're supposed to be this or you're supposed to know that you're supposed to do this, and
they don't.
They don't exactly right. Like their brain is just not there anymore. Cool. So I could see how that like that's why I'm saying I feel like it's gonna be a weird thing, right? Like when you get to that age, I would hope that none of us have to go through that because like a lot of my relatives that I know that passed away like. Most of them are pretty coherent. Okay. Pretty coherent until they pass, you know what I mean? Like talking up until the moment or whatever, or at least a couple days before. So
remember the other pod we were talking about, like what's the oldest you will sleep with someone?
Yeah.
Remember? So I got something about that. So apparently, this has been a big thing, I guess, but Scotty, Michael Jordan's son.
You're talking about this.
Who's 32, is dating Scotty Pippen's ex-wife, who's 49, about to turn to be 50.
Michael does not agree with this, just so if you didn't
know.
Michael,
well, I don't know if Michael doesn't agree with it because TMZ.
I've heard that Michael doesn't agree with it.
Yeah, TMZ questioned him as he was walking to the car. Hey, do you agree with this? And he goes, no. And I didn't know because that's all I saw of him saying is no. Now, if he came out and said more about it or no, I don't know. But I didn't know if he was saying no to not agreeing or no, I'm not answering your question.
I think it's no, I don't agree.
Anyway,
I saw the same thing. I think.
Yeah. So this lady's been known to date a bunch of young basketball players.
You also
49 turning 50.
You also saw where she was in a podcast talking about how she was used to getting dick down like 4 times a day for like 6 years straight or some shit like that, and everybody was posting like, what are you talking about, woman? Nobody does that 4 times a day for 5 years straight. Like, and she's like, yeah, no days off, this and that, like trying to be like very strict on it when we know that's not really the case.
She had her pussy on the workout program. No days
Wait,
off.
wait. They were saying that she's capping pretty much. Like, that's not true. She wasn't.
Yeah, that's cap.
By who? By Scotty Pippen? By somebody else?
She was saying in her old relationship. That's what she was kind of.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you
So I'm
gotta
assuming
understand. 'Cause
Scotty, right?
she done slept with every single basketball player that's Michael Jordan's son, including all of the young ones. And now, I don't know, Miggy, can you pull up her picture? She looks good. She looks good.
I'll pull it up here, Mickey. You don't have to
All right.
worry about your bandwidth.
Yeah,
So,
but
Oh shit! I helped turn.
like, there's this chick that work. Well, she used to work at where I work. She doesn't work there anymore. She was 47, and like she was all the young guys. Like it was.
yeah, see, my thing is this. Now we will see if you look at, you know who's Macron, right? Like the president of France.
Yeah.
He married his high school teacher, who's like 60 some years old, and he's like in his 40s, 50s, and she's like 60s, 70s.
Is that the?
Macron?
Yeah, but is that his wife right now or not?
Yeah, it's his wife right now.
Talking about Larsa, right?
Yes. So pull her picture up. Yeah, any picture. Yeah, any one of those.
Right, this will work.
Yeah. See, she's turning 50.
She does not look 50.
She does not look 50. No. Like whoever, Dr. Miami or whoever is there is doing an amazing job.
There you go,
Yeah.
Mickey. You can switch it on.
Yep, I have it.
Yeah. So,
So this
MJ's
is
son,
how old is this woman?
almost 50.
Is that the guy though that she's dating now?
Yeah, that's Michael
looks
Jordan's
older, though.
son.
That's
He's
Michael Jordan's
32.
son.
He's 32.
So she's 50. How old is like Pippen in them?
Pippen and Michael Jordan, they're probably close to their 60s now.
Got you. So he's dating her. Man, I don't know. I wonder what his mind state is around this.
Yeah, because see, like, there's a question. Is he really in it because of, like, the lust? Or is he in it because, let's say, dad is a basketball player. He's not necessarily a basketball player. Like, is it
Trying
the
to put
way
some
to
hype
get
around him?
clout? Or is he trying to get back to Scotty Pippen for something? Because I don't think Scotty Pippen gives a shit anymore. Like, you know, he's got his money. Like, he probably can find a lady that's younger and looks just like her, but much younger, you know, if need to be. With the money and the fame that he's always had.
Thinking about like athletes and you know sports and stuff. Have you ever had any calls? I mean, like you said, you don't really answer too much serious stuff, right? But like, have you ever had any calls of like major bones broken? Like you're seeing like this bone out of this person's elbow or anything like that?
No.
No, because you don't get the calls like that, right?
No,
Like, they
but
don't send you.
let me ask my friend. We did a call once. It was this guy. He was in a rehab. He did one movie. He was a producer, but it was a well-known movie. I just have to find it. So let me ask my friend really quick because I forgot the guy's name.
No, don't dox
No.
him. Don't dox him.
No, but it was cool though. Like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Don't dox him.
So he was a producer, a movie producer,
Okay.
but that was cool. That's all he talked about. He was
So-
the biggest asshole I've ever met, though.
I got a story like that. So one of the exes I've dated, she apparently has this friend who's gay, whatever, and the friend is on Grindr, right? And he matched with this guy, and you know, the guy's like pretty much come over. He goes over and he starts like getting an Uber, drives, and then Uber is taking him to these fucking nice ass neighborhoods, like $1 million houses. And it's like texting the dude is like, am I in the right place? Just like these millionaires, like, hey, you're in the right place. So he gets there, you know, they do whatever they gotta do, and then he leaves. Right as he's leaving, he sees an envelope on a bar or on an island. He picks up and reads the name, puts it down, and then comes back home to research, or in a car on the way back to research. So apparently, it was a Buccaneers player that's not out. Like, people think that he's straight, everything is fine. Not that I'm saying this is the wrong thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
so he's not out, you know what I mean? And like, everybody thinks he's straight, but he's on the side. Like, so those are the type of stories that you kind of hear. But then when it happens, like, oh shit, so it's not wife's tale. This shit actually really happens, you know? And to me, that's kind of sad, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because you're in the limelight like that, you know, like you're not, you know what I mean?
Able to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Which is kind of cool.
you feel like there's some kind of social pressure around that, which 100% is understandable.
And it was a pretty young player, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of sad, you know?
So you the other day while you were here, you can go back into your EMT stories. I think are pretty interesting. You the other day here were explaining
Tick Tock
someone
window?
that you knew where I was going. You knew where I was going.
Back to site calls.
Yes, right.
Every
Like
time
so.
site calls come, like I feel bad honestly because they're not willing to doing this. Like it's just out of their control. But I don't want to be responding to them. Like someone else.
I don't want to deal with them. That still doesn't change the fact whether you want to deal with them or not, right?
So.
Well, how do you know it's a side call? Do they tell you?
Oh,
that
we
it's a
don't.
side-
So.
They're prepared. They get prepared.
All right.
Sometimes they tell you because
Let's
if
get
they're
ready.
honest on the phone, they tell you like it's a site call. Like I'm having mental issues.
It could be Christmas. It could be hell. You never know which one
So-
is it. It could be someone that stubbed their toe. Somebody that's ready to bite your face off.
So some of the times it's kind of just like, here's an address,
Like
and then other times they give you a
yeah,
full
like
breakdown.
dispatch on the radio, like. So, the way like our company works, we have a phone, and we have our own separate dispatch than like the county dispatch.
Okay.
So our dispatch are in Miami, so they don't know like anything what's going on around in this area. So sometimes they'll message you, "Why are you taking this road?" Like stupid shit like that, just to piss you off. Like you're not even here. Like
What?
leave me alone. So whenever they drop a call, like a 911 call on you, they do nothing. Like the bare minimum, just patient fell. That's it. When we have the county radio, it's like a whole different ballgame because like they're on the phone with this person.
Right.
So
right.
we're getting everything to the T. So this call, I don't know what happened. Someone dropped the ball on county. So we got a radio disc. Where my work is kind of a sketchy neighborhood. Like there's a lot of interstates and it's just sketchy.
So you're zoned to a specific area, right? So.
No, like yeah, like they move us between stations.
Okay.
All right.
okay,
So
okay.
Laz has a phobia of a lot of interstates. Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you another story now though. So we get a call like on the radio, unknown medical, responding with engine whatever. So we got like we're driving. The engine gets here first.
Engine is fire truck, guys.
It's
For
like
those who
the-
don't know,
yeah.
yeah.
So the one with the water, not the one with the ladder on the top.
Okay.
So it's like it's a cemetery, like right next to a cemetery. So it's not a busy road. It's one lane this way, the other one this way. The engine gets in and blocks the whole like on the side, the whole road. So like you can hear on the end, like on the radio, the engines like they were uncomfortable. The firefighters. So they came, as soon as they got on scene, like they were like, we need sheriffs immediately.
Really.
So like 3 minutes later, where are the sheriffs? And like you can hear this guy yelling in the background. So like 2 seconds later, expedite the sheriffs now.
Shit.
So we're getting close, and I'm telling my partner, "Fuck, like we're
Sheriff's
getting
not there.
The sheriff's not there." So like our whole thing
Drive around
is
the block.
scene safety. Like, no, for real. Like if the scene's not safe, like we don't go out. Like
Really?
the guy can be getting like shot, like they're dead. We can't do nothing.
But the guy's still out with the
Scene's not
gun. You're
safe.
driving
Yeah,
around the
scene's
block.
not safe. So luckily, when we pulled in, like the sheriff was pulling in with us. So we parked next to each other on the road. He gets down and he tells me, "Stay in here, like don't come out yet. Let's see what's going on." Like I don't know what happened because like the fire truck was blocking the whole thing. I just see the sheriff run and one firefighter run this way.
Run? Like
Yes.
actually run?
So the guy's being put in handcuff. Like I don't know why yet. Like I don't know anything. So one of the captain like signals me to go. So I go and like this guy has a spit mask on because he was thirsty. A firefighter gave him water and like he just spit the whole water at him. So they put him on a spit mask.
Damn.
So
So spit mask is basically like a fucking mask. Just
no, it's like I thought it was a mask because I never seen one. It's literally like a bag over your head, but it just has holes so you can breathe. But like your whole head is covered.
Oh.
Like the
Can
whole
you
head's
see?
covered. That's the sad part. Like we don't know who this patient is. Like if we ever run across him again, like I don't know what his face looks like.
wait a minute. All right,
So you
continue. I'm gonna ask.
just dealt with this dude
So,
with
like,
a bag on his head?
It's a mesh bag. You know, like sometimes like mesh, like you can't really see like
Yeah.
the details. Like you can see a face obviously. But you
What is
don't
it
see
Right,
made of?
right.
Plastic?
No, it's not plastic. It's like those for screens. Like you know, like the
Yes.
the screen, like that type of material,
The
but in
metal
a
mesh
bag.
kind of?
No, but like the fiberglass ones.
Okay.
Like in a bag form, kind of like that. So we can see like the outline of his face, but we can't see like the details of his face. So if we come across this guy again, like I don't know, unless
You
with
think
his
he'll know
tattoos
you?
and stuff, probably. So normally, once like psych patients.
He had a what you call it, UV filter on his on his face, like a natural UV filter.
Normally with psych patients, once like the police is out of the scene, like they're okay with you, like they're cool with you, like they will talk with you, like
Oh,
fine.
it's just the police that piss them off?
Sometimes, yeah, like some police tend to push buttons. Cause I've had to cuss a couple of them out because like they're just being a douchebag for no fucking reason. So
Real quick, is it really true, like what they say that you guys like between like police and firefighters?
Oh, we hate each other.
Yeah, right. You guys hate each other.
No, but we always obviously
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
protect each other. Like, you know, like we're a team.
Right.
But like the cops do have a tendency of talking a lot of shit when obviously this guy is not coherent. Like, why are you? But anyways, me and my partner are bringing this patient to our ambulance, and like we're asking him like, "Hey, what's your name?" He's like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna fuck you and your partner. I'm gonna fuck your mom. I'm gonna fuck everybody in your family."
Oh, he's on a fuck you spree.
Whatever. So like we load him in the back of the truck. My partner gets in because at this point like he's handcuffed, so we have to wait like per protocols. Like a sheriff has to ride with us.
Okay.
So at this point, like, there's 4 sheriffs there on the scene, but they all have their cars. So one of them is coming with another sheriff, an extra sheriff, for him to ride in the back with us.
Right about.
So we're waiting for him. The side doors are open. I'm in the side door with the firefighter. The firefighter was like, "Hey, like, there's a lot of us right here. Like, we can help you guys put him on soft restraints. Soft restraints are like little, like they're like little handcuffs, but like they're like has sponge, and like you just tie them, but like really you can just go like this and like come off of them." And we looked at the sheriff and at the firefighter and we're like, no, like we want him in handcuffs. Like look at the way he's acting right now. Like when we put him on soft restraints, like he's gonna get out, and like it's just us. So we were waiting for the sheriff, and like the guy was like,
they didn't want to give you guys a sheriff to go with you?
Yeah, no, but we're just waiting. Like the firefighter was saying, so we can just get the fuck out and like transport him to the hospital. So at this point, like we don't know still what's going on with this guy. Like he's just acting obnoxious for no fucking reason. So we're trying to ask him questions like what's going on. He said he was having seizures, but again, like people normally faint when you have a seizure. You're not on the phone with 911 when you're actively seizing. So that's what he said he was doing. Like he was actively seizing. He was on the phone with 911, which doesn't make sense. So obviously it's bullshit. So we're waiting for the sheriff, and like the guy was like, "Hey, give me water." I go, "We can't give you water. Like you spit water on someone. Like you can't have nothing to eat." He goes, "If you don't give me water, I'm gonna kick your back window out." And I go, "We can't give you water." And I was impressed. Like, we were all impressed, genuinely. Like, this guy was barefooted. And, like, he tapped the glass. And then the second time, he just kicked it right out. So, he has cuts on the bottom of his feet. The sheriff was like, "Get him out, get him out." Can you hold his feet first? Like, he's gonna kick my mouth in. Like, my teeth in. So, they're holding his feet. I'm bringing him out. And he's just jumping around on the stretcher like he's on something.
But they still have you dealing with this guy? Come on.
From the call, like,
while this guy has a bag on his head.
Yes.
Like this.
That's true.
So, I missed that part of the story the other day. I didn't know he had a bag on his head.
So one of the firefighters was like, "Let's just put him on a backboard and lay him on the ground because he's gonna fall from."
Motherfucker thought he's in Fallujah and ISIS got him.
So a backboard is literally a plastic, like it's just a straight plastic thing that you put like for to protect the spine. But we tie you down on a backboard. So that's what we were putting him on a backboard. So we put him on a backboard, tied him down. He's always trying to bite us, because if you're on
through the bag.
Like, I mean, he can still bite through the bag if he wants.
Yeah.
Of course.
Protocols, like if you're on a backboard, you have to be on the seat collar.
If he was in a third world, if you were in a third world country, he would get his ass slapped. Bite me.
And we went to put a seat collar on him. But like, yeah, he almost bit me, bit my partner, bit a firefighter. Like, so we ruled that.
What's a seat collar?
It's just to protect your neck because he's just acting a fool. Like,
that's he's like the only body part that's flinging on him.
So he's like a giraffe trying to fight.
Like, he's just strapped down to the backboard at this point, so he can't really move. So
motherfucker still.
He's just cussing us out, saying like we're abusing
he's in a metal
him.
concert.
And then all of a sudden he becomes calm. He goes, "All right, I think I'm good now, so if you guys want to uncuff me so I can get back to my camp now." And the sheriff was like, "What?" He goes, "You just kicked the back window. You're getting arrested now." So the whole process, like, they have to medically clear him to see if he's okay, and then he gets sent to jail.
So how nice is that? You yourself call the ambulance, and then you start having a bad time, and now you kick the window out and got a bag over your head.
Yeah.
And now you're getting arrested.
And so now after all this shit happened, he's like, "No, I'm fine, guys. You can just drop me back off."
That's all good.
Motherfucker, yeah, okay.
Like, so things like that.
Well, I think in California they would have said, "Oh, you're okay? No, okay, go ahead." I don't know. I'm just assuming that's what would happen in California.
Los Angeles, at least, right?
Yeah, while you're at it, why don't you shit on my legs?
But That and then drunk people, I guess, are also the worst. Like, I was working overnight once, and normally when we work overnights, we don't get a radio, so that's why a lot of people like to work overnights, because we don't get a radio. That night, they gave us a radio. It was bad. Like, we worked a 13-hour shift, and we had no time in between for to do nothing, like to eat, to nothing, because it was as soon as we would go available, we would have a call. We had, I don't know if fire was being lazy that day, but we transported all 4 people. Like, they were in a bar fight. Because normally, like, we can put 2 people in an ambulance. Like, if you guys are family or related in any way, shape, or form, like, HIPAA doesn't count, like, we can put you guys together. But we couldn't put them together because they all fought each other. They all had broken heads, like, with beer bottles and stuff.
Where was this bar at?
Huh?
Where was this
We
bar
can't
at?
say where the bar is at.
Like, yeah, Fletcher, I guess, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know what that area is. That
So-
area is pretty bad. Guys who don't know, that area you just said is pretty bad.
So, the sheriffs are there babysitting him as we go to the hospital, drop one patient off, go back, pick another patient, drop him off.
Way.
Come
Couldn't
back.
just have other ambulances go. Like,
Correct. Like, I don't know what anybody else was doing that night. Like, all 4 patients were ours.
This is your homework now.
How long was that one call for the night?
It's like 3 hours.
Damn.
Because then we have to wait at the hospital while the sheriffs are babysitting.
Right. You gotta wait for each one to get sat.
So what? Well, I guess this is not gonna be a good question because like you're given only like an area, so you don't really get to go outside of the area. So whatever demographic of the area is, that's what you're probably gonna get. There's no way to say like what demographic of people are a little more like calm, or is it just across the board? You get the
It's
crazies across the board.
Yeah, like older white people, like they call 911 for anything. Like the Hispanics exaggerate everything, like things like that. Like those are the 2 main like crazy ones.
I mean, we are in like, like I said, Tampa Bay area. You know.
Yeah.
But
A lot of
for these
Hispanics
people
here.
at this point, like you don't deal with any of the insurance or any of that stuff. Like hospital deals with it.
Like no, like we still ask for insurance because I mean that's how my company gets paid because we're a private company. Like normally, like, you just give us the insurance card and like that's it. But like if the people don't have insurance, then like we're kind of screwed because
And what would you say? What would you say the percentage of people that do have the insurance card versus not?
Oh no, like I want to say like a good 90% people have insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like the people that transport, like normally like people that don't have insurance don't want to go because they know they're gonna
get billed. Yeah.
So like for example, we had an NVA. It was a fucking truck and a Honda Civic crashed in the back of it.
Jesus.
So the Honda Civic was totaled. No one from the Honda Civic wanted to go to the hospital. These 2 Cubans were dying, like the ones on the truck. Like they were dying, like they couldn't get out of the car, like the worst pain in their life. Nothing happened to the truck. Nothing. The Honda Civic was totaled. Nobody.
When you say truck, it's like a dump truck, big truck, or just like a pickup truck?
No, like a pickup truck, like a dually.
A dually.
It was a big ass truck. So these people are complaining neck and back pain, so you always have to be C-collared and all that. So they're
getting that $10,000.
And like we're waiting on a wall for like a good 3 hours at the hospital. And like the C-collars hurt, like they're uncomfortable because like your neck's extended. And she was like, I want to take my C-collar off. And I go, oh, you can't take it now because you have neck pain, remember? She goes, ugh. So she was pissed. But I mean, you pick your own battles. I mean.
But like, technically, you can take it off, and you're like, it's kind of like, I hate to say it.
I know, like she has neck pain, like she really can't take it off.
Yeah.
Because if something is wrong.
Yeah, and maybe that neck go like this.
And now you fucked. Yeah.
Oh shit! What'd you have? I think you had like.
So
Anyway, with that question, what do y'all guys think about that? The Jordans.
Let him be happy. Who cares? Is she rich?
I mean, she was Scotty Pippen's wife, so I'm sure she got a divorce settlement.
Let them enjoy it together in Fiji.
Again.
I guess if that's the hole he chose, let him go down it. All right, like
yeah.
There's a big age gap though.
Right, the 20 years,
Yeah.
and the fact that like that was one of my dad's teammates and friends' ex-wives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
okay,
forget.
see, I didn't know that part.
Right. Okay. So
yeah.
Scotty
so
Pippen
Scotty
and Michael
Pippen
Jordan.
played basketball together, right? Back
So
in the
him
Bulls,
and Michael
Dream
Jordan.
Team time.
Michael Jordan is one of the most known basketball players in the world.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
right.
I'd say he's probably
Scotty
the known
Pippen and
most
him
known.
for 7. I think they have 7 years in a row, some shit like that. They've won
Okay, the championship.
the championship. So they're very well known. Like Scotty, like right now when you compare somebody, let's say a company, the boss of the company and like vice president, they say like I'm the Scotty Pippen to Michael Jordan. Basically, that's the type of relationship.
Okay.
Like they were always tight, right? But the thing with that is I don't know, like that's great. Let him enjoy whatever, you know. You can't tell your heart what to do, this and that. But to me, is like he's probably the reason why you have this many like 50-year-old women running around thinking they're still 10s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
Well, I mean,
she is a 10, though.
she's still pretty.
She's
up there.
good looking.
Yeah,
she's
pretty
good looking.
good looking, especially for her age. So
You know who's
guess.
really good looking for their age as well? Salma Hayek. She's 50 years old and she is.
She hasn't
banging.
really changed much. She hasn't really changed much. Yeah, I agree with that. She still look good, but I think it's the genetic coding of like the Hispanic woman, like, you know, because they're curvy, you know, like if they still maintain the shape, you know, it's something that attracts guys. Anyway.
Before we go into I have some stuff, right? But I think you said you had another story of psych patients after the kicking out the window thing that Miguel like brought something up. Miguel, you said something, and he was like, "Oh, I have one for that."
I do,
after
but
this."
Oh, the interstates?
Oh,
Yeah, so
there you go. Boom, we got it.
I
We
was
got
going.
it.
So where I work at, like, there's a lot of loops to go in and out, in
Okay.
and out. So like, we're on this loop. Left, we're going to the gas station. My job is on the right. So we're there. There's a semi truck in front of me, 3 cars, and then it's us. I was working with a paramedic that
Very
day.
analytical.
So I was working with a paramedic that day. We got the green light, and as soon as we got the green light, this douchebag in a Corvette decided to make a U-turn where you're not supposed to make a U-turn because it turned lane and this goes straight. So he made the U-turn as the semi-truck is going. Like, from our point of view, we don't see nothing. The semi-truck ran over the whole Corvette.
Whoa,
Yes.
shit.
So on this side, there was a sheriff. Like, I was just lucky that day. On this side, there was a sheriff. She turns on her lights immediately because she saw the whole thing and starts signaling us, like, to come because we don't see nothing from our point of view.
Yeah.
So we cut through traffic, get to him, and yeah, like he's just like the whole side of like the roof was down. The whole frame of the windshield came down and like sliced his whole face open.
Jesus.
So like this flap was just hanging out. Like everything was
my
just there. Like he had a hole in his forehead. He was breathing and like he was conscious, but like he was knocked out. Like he would respond to pain, but like he wasn't, like his eyes were closed.
I would probably have that same response.
So my partner was holding C-spine. I went to grab a C-collar. We put the C-collar on him.
With this flap just hanging on the
Yeah,
side.
so
What were you doing? Just lifting the flap out? Or...
no, so like we couldn't get him out because like the whole dashboard was on him.
Oh shit!
So
So
the
that
sheriff
thing's like
called
jaws of life
fire
and shit.
Everybody else. So I jumped into the car and was just holding pressure on the flap because it was bleeding everywhere. And the sheriff went through the front and was holding pressure on the forehead. And my partner was still holding C-spine because that's all we can do until fire gets there and like gets
Bro,
Him out, yeah.
so much respect. I could
So,
not do
I
that.
had to throw away. It was freezing.
So
that night.
much respect.
It was like in that one day it gets cold here in December. It was that day, and I was wearing a jacket. My whole jacket was covered in blood. I had to throw it away, and like it's like $70. Jacket where I work at.
So
And
do
it
they
comes off
expect
of-
you to pay for something?
Oh yeah, no, we have to pay. Like if we are cold, like we need a jacket.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So yeah, I had to throw my jacket away.
Shit.
'Cause I'm not
That's-
washing
And
that
then
shit
you
in the
guys
washing.
transported him and everything?
Fired.
Wait. They
Okay.
expect you to wash that shit? You don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
they
no, I
got
just
on
threw it
there.
away, yeah.
Well, like here, let me ask you this, because you technically dealing with bodily fluids. So how do you, like, you know, you get all kinds of people, like, you know, that are gonna have HIV, this and that. How do you fucking deal with that?
I mean, you just wash your hands, honestly, and like wear gloves, PPE. Like that's because yeah, like we've had patients like with HIV and like they're
That would be the one that I'd be
like
like,
you can't do nothing. Like
I
you
ain't
can't
touching him with your
discriminate.
dick or your dick.
Do you
My
still
worst enemy's
do
dick.
you still have to do the little finger
Yeah, they
method?
say-
No,
Jay said,
no.
I don't care if he's coherent, walking, isn't insane. He got HIV. Nah.
Nah,
I'm not taking him.
it ain't.
I ain't taking him.
Yeah, I think the gates
Fire
of
me.
heaven are calling
Fire
you, my
me.
friend. Yeah.
Fire me right now.
Yeah, gates of heaven are calling you. It ain't today. It ain't. You got me fucked up.
Nowadays it's fine.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, like you don't have to necessarily transmit it to someone. Like if they're taking their medications, like it's 100% okay. Like homeless people, iffy. But like a random person, like a normal person, like they're undetected, so like they can't really transmit it to you anymore. Like with their on their medication, like it's not back in the day. Like it's more controlled.
I ain't
now.
touching it. I ain't touching it.
Shit.
I would have one of those like walking sticks, you know, when you go hiking, be like, you alive? You feel this? We're waiting. Or hold up that flap with that little fire stick.
Nah.
I guess like the worst call, like smell wise, we had this guy. He had IBS, like it's irritable. I can't pronounce that
bowel
word.
syndrome.
Irritable bowel syndrome. So we get to this group home.
That's like celiac. When people have celiac, they'll have that shit. Like you basically like when you need to shit, you need to shit. Like there's no, like you cannot control it. It's coming.
So like we get to this government group home, like we're in my area.
Yo, imagine you're having sex and it's like, I'm coming. No, I'm coming.
And it's a shit.
Yeah.
So this guy had like his whole right leg amputated. So he goes to there for rehab, but I mean, they're not taking care of him. Like, it's a shithole anyways. So he had a ground level fall. Fire is there helping us. He's sitting in the wheelchair when we get there. We're all standing around him to lift him up. And as soon as that guy stood up from the wheelchair, like, he unleashed a whole new scent that all of us, like the two firefighters and me and my partner, made eye contact with.
Boom, Oppenheimer.
Like, we were wearing masks because it was through COVID times. Yeah. We were wearing masks, like double mask, an N95 and a regular mask, and we still smelled that shit.
Literally, no pun intended.
So we put him in the back of the ambulance. He wants to go to this hospital. Like, it's 25 minutes from where he's at. My partner went gagging the whole entire time because he shit more than 6 times, like on the stretcher. This guy, like my partner, had his head through the whole entire time. The windows were down, and it was just this horrific smell. Cause it's not like regular shit smell, like now amplified by 20. And it's liquidy, so we had to get like when we were done with the call, we had to get like a new mattress for the stretcher, cause the stretcher like mattress like
so
sometimes I have cracks, so like it seeps through the cracks. So obviously it's not safety anymore. We had to get new seat belts. We had to get a whole ton of new shit. Because this guy's IBS, but I mean, it is what it is.
So I had a situation like that. So we're still working in valet. This happened at the pier. I don't give a fuck about doxing anyone anymore. So this happened at the pier. So this guy was just like walking. Next thing you know, he stops by like the ledge and just looking at the water. And next thing you know, he just does this thing, and then shit just starts falling from his shorts, like, and then he just kind of walked as he shit more and more and more.
Did he shake it off a little bit?
Yeah, he was shaking that shit off. And then he goes to the bathroom of the pier, which is, mind you, it's a public bathroom. Security guard went right behind him to see what's going on. This guy had his entire pants off, his underwear, everything off, in a sink, washing his shit, like literally washing himself, in a public bathroom on a pier. Yeah, and then they had to get somebody to fucking scoop up all that shit. Like, I've never seen a human shit that much in my entire life. Like, I'm talking about, like, you know how horses will shit like a bucket?
Why would he just do that? So he's like competent enough to know he gotta go wash himself, but he wasn't competent enough to just.
I mean,
we've had
like he could,
but the motherfucker was just standing there when he could have just walked. Like,
I
got the
think
feeling and you know what I mean? Like,
I think it hit him, and he's like, "Oh no, let me stand here. Maybe I can control it," and just didn't work. I think that's what happened. Like
when you go in for that sneaky fart.
that one of the rings did not keep it closed.
his O-rings failed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But like that again.
We've had shit experiences as well at Best Buy, with the people just shitting all over the carpet.
Bro.
Did they do that too at Best Buy? Because at Home Depot, like people would just shit themselves, like walking to the bathroom. And it was disgusting.
We had. I remember one
It's a
time.
carpet too.
Oh my god.
Zabdi Hernandez. Who's that?
That's I think a family member of Emily's, like a family friend.
Thanks, Zabdi. Hispanic. I think the exaggeration part comes in from people that are very like fiery, or any country, or any
they're
nation
loud.
has, like fiery.
They're loud.
Yeah,
people.
there's always exaggeration. You know, like that's where the exaggeration.
But
comes
hey,
from.
like black don't crack, and Hispanic skin is also amazing too.
Yeah.
I met this lady. She was white. She was in her late 90s, and she looked maybe 60. And she said that the secret was Olay. She's been using Olays since she was 30. Like
not the genetic code.
Yo.
It's the Olay.
She's got that lifetime brand partnership.
with Olay.
I know Asian.
Yes, Asians
people,
too.
Asian people are like that too. They're like, you cannot tell how old they are. I knew this chick in college. Her name was Mariko. Mariko. And this girl was like 40 some years old. She was going to college with us. Bro, like you could tell she was a little bit older, but you'd never be able to tell that she's 40. The girl was so hot, bro. Like one of the hottest Asian girls I've ever seen in my entire life. She was Japanese. But
So, from hot girls to shit. Yeah, Best Buy one time, there was this case where they went in, and for some reason they decided to put the shit in the urinal. Right? And then there was shit all over the floor and stuff. Yeah, it was...
the shit on the floor, picked it up, put it in the urinal?
That was the question that was going around. Did they squat? Like, did they did they go really close to the urinal, let it out? Like, that was the question going around. Because there was some on the walls, too, so it was kind of like they had to have been smeared. Not everybody saw it. I saw it because I ran into the cleaning lady, and so she freaking showed me pictures.
Let me ask you this.
And she was like, "Can you believe what the fuck I had to pick up?" Basically, and she was Hispanic and stuff, exaggerating.
So,
well, that was no exaggeration. I don't think.
Sabdi said, "Lazaro, I give you props for having that job!" Exclamation mark.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. When I worked at Home Depot, the Spanish lady, I was minding my own fucking business, eating lunch. The Spanish lady comes, like the cleaning lady, and she goes, "Yeah, guess what?" And I go, "What?" My husband jumped off the Skyway Bridge yesterday.
What?
And she shows me the video, because I guess you get a video from it, because there's cameras up there. And he did, and I go, "I'm so sorry. Can I continue eating my lunch now?" Like, thanks for ruining my whole lunch.
Just an awkward-ass lunch.
I didn't know what to say.
I'm sorry.
Because she wasn't crying or nothing, so, like, I didn't know what to...
I'm one of those people that if you approach me with a kind of situation like that and you're a blatant stranger, I will just, like, look at you dead in your face and then move on with my day. Not even spit a word. Like if you come up to me and say something like that, I'm sorry, whether you're telling the truth or not, in my head, I'm going to think you're trying to fuck with me instantly. That's probably what I would think. If you just came up to me like, my husband died, like, I'd be like, yo, you either if you're not fucking with me, I'm not the one you need to be talking to.
So they were saying, like, if you jump off the Skyway Bridge, like, the water tension is... Like at that height, it's like hitting concrete.
Yeah, so the problem is water holds surface tension.
Yeah.
Right? That's why, like, when you see these divers, when they dive, they have a spout, like a water spout, that's hitting right next to where they're going to land to break the water tension, to break the surface tension of the water, sorry.
Like, I wonder if you regret it on the way down, because it's a far jump. I feel like you're falling for like a couple seconds. Ready?
I think it's some stat, like 90-something percent. 90-something percent. Like, I'm not gonna say 90, right? I'm not gonna say percent. I've heard from something like this that the majority of the people that survive jumps like that, they all say they regretted it.
Yeah, because now they're a vegetable.
No. There's guys that have survived Golden Gate Bridge in California. I saw a video of this guy telling his whole story. Dude looks still fucked up. That shit probably...
Dude, you think you hated your life before?
That shit... He basically got hit by a train kind of thing, right? So, like, this shit put 20 years on him automatically.
Jesus Christ.
It was like this old red, like, ginger white dude. And he basically said, like, yeah, I regret it at the moment. And that's the story of apparently the majority of people. The moment they
I think jump with a parachute.
So they say, like, the moment they jump off, they regret it.
So the thing with dudes is, like,
and you can't ask
after
the ones who didn't
40,
survive, so.
After 40, dudes are 9 times more likely to self-delete than women are. And usually, like, they attribute that to a bunch of other things, but one of the causes is divorce. And, like, losing their children, losing their money, losing their status. And they're like, well, it's either I have to do it all over again.
You start getting close to that midlife crisis. And so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there... See, this is an unpopular idea. I don't think there's such thing as midlife crisis. I think dudes just kind of hit their peak when they're in their 40s. And at that time, like, this is like when you made a partner, you're making the money. Like, I can buy the car now. I can buy the house that I want. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So it's not really a midlife crisis. It's just we get to our peak later in life. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what's happening, in my opinion.
I agree.
Like, firefighters, police, and all of them, like, that's the number one thing that kills them. It's depression and, like, suicide.
Yeah.
And then it's cancer and stuff like that from fires.
And then a lot of times is because, like, you know, because the type of job they have, they're away from the family, and the wife feels like she's not getting enough attention, blah, 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 and they'll leave, and the whole 9 yards, and then just kind of, like, down spiral.
Which one of the 3 fields do you see the most suicides? Do you not know?
I think it's fire, because when we went to a fire academy, like, they were very, like, we had a whole day of mental, like,
depression training.
Yes, Because it is like you're away from your family. I mean, granted, you only work 9 days a month. But
yeah, because it's like 2 on, 3 off, or
so
5
you
on,
work
4
24
off.
hours and you're off for 48 hours, and then like every 3 weeks, like after you do that for 3 weeks straight, you get a week off, and then you're on again for 24, off 48. 3 weeks later, you get another week off, which is not that bad. Honestly.
Doesn't sound that bad.
No.
No, it's
you're
it's
still away
not
from
bad
your
if the
family.
group of friends that you have there that you're working with are pretty cool. Like, you know what I mean? That you can't. But think about it. Like, during those days, you might not be getting sleep.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that can fuck with you.
And like depends on the station too. Like Polk County, it's horrible. Like yeah, I can apply right now and get hired tomorrow. Like they want people, but the pay sucks. First of all, like one of my buddies from the fire academy, he works there now. He's making $15.44 an hour.
Damn,
As
that
an
ain't
EMT
shit.
firefighter. And on top of that, like he's mandated overtime every other shift, so he has to work 48 hours, and he's had to work 72 hours too at times. And it just sucks over there.
Way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't
Shit.
get
Yeah, because I was
sleep,
going to that,
no.
right? Like you said, you how long have you had your finish the fire academy already?
It will be 2 years now in September. But I
That
just
you've-
want to apply to a specific department because like I don't want to be jumping around. Yes, it's good because you're getting experience, but also your clock is ticking. So like if you're just jumping around, you have to start your pension all over again. Like if you don't stay with that department. So I don't want to work at Polk County, work there for 3 years, and then having to restart my pension again. Like when I move to a different department.
Got you.
Things like that. Like I just want to stay and like stay.
You try to find your specific spot
Yeah.
so you don't have to ever move. And
Correct. Like your pension just stays there with you.
got you. So it doesn't move around between because it's not.
It
your
depends.
403b.
It
Your
depends on-
403b will move around, I think.
It depends on which, like, how your department has it. Because I know, like, between, like, Tampa Fire and Hillsborough
We
County,
got
like,
another
I
30
think
minutes, so
their
we're gonna
thing
go pee.
is compatible. But it's just, like, depending on how their program is, like, with the pensions.
Yeah, because if it was just a 403b, 403b will move. That's 403b is basically an investment account for all the people that work for the government. Instead of a 401k, it's a 403b. So I'll move, but the pension plans are a little bit different. They don't work the same way because then, yeah, you get contributed for pension, but then you have to spend, my understanding is so many years to get to be eligible for it.
Yeah.
And if you're not completing that, you're not eligible for it.
Yeah.
Which kind
I
of
mean, but it's good, though, because, like, after 20 years, you can retire. Like, I don't... For how little schooling it, like, you do for a firefighter, like, it's good in the long run.
yeah, but then I mean, if you make it to captain, it's probably like
Yes.
worth it. You
Yes.
know.
Like,
They
You don't
came
even
one
need to-
time over to high school, and I was like, dude, that sounds amazing. But when you have to, like, deal with the type of shit like what we talked about today, no, I'm good. I'll pass.
it's fun, though.
It's fun. It's fun. It's stories. It's definitely interesting in that way, but I personally wouldn't be able to tolerate that. I don't know. Maybe you do get kind of desensitized
You
in
do
a way.
like I've gone to like assisted living facilities and like the patient's just there dead, and again like they have a DNR, you just check pulse and you leave because like you don't transport dead people. Like when I started working there, when I started working there, we used to have the ME contract,
Yeah.
so we would just pick up dead people. After the whole that one was cool in a sense because you got to see the whole different side of it because we don't see what happens after.
I sold a PlayStation one time to this guy who ran like I guess a body delivery service or worked for a morgue or something. And he opened his van and he was like, yeah, it's been a rough day. I just got out of the job. And I'm like, oh, cool. Just making conversation. What do you do? Oh, I carry around dead people. You want to see inside the van? I'm like, okay, I guess. Sure. And he like slides open his van door and I see the two.
Did he offer you candy?
No, he didn't. I would have taken it.
Jump into the van, Miggy. I got free candy.
No, but he just
I got free candy.
it was kind of a sketchy transaction, but he just gave me the money and I dipped
Wait, what did he give you money for?
for my PlayStation. Yeah.
Ah,
But what did you see inside the van though?
It was like a double bed,
Okay.
like side by side, and that was really about it. It was and some curtains to kind of like
And you'll
Yeah.
see them in the hospitals like pushing because it's like a little aluminum stretcher looking thing, and like they're covered with this red velvet blanket. Like,
red
you're not-
velvet blanket.
Yeah, like the ones I've seen at the hospitals over there, they have a red velvet blanket covered up over them. Like you're not fooling anyone. That's a dead body. Like make it less obvious.
Because you usually see the white blanket, not a red velvet one.
But yeah, when I started working there, I started working at that company in February.
Mm-hmm.
By April, we lost the ME contract. Like, my company gave it up, like, because they weren't making any money off of it. But, like, I picked up, like, 4 shifts in ME. You had to be on call. So, like, I just wouldn't come over here because it's pointless. I'd just stay at my base.
Oh,
some
you
nights,
stay at the base?
Yeah, some nights, like, you didn't get anything. I mean, but not sleeping or nothing because we don't have beds. Just talking to the supervisor. Like, sitting in a computer chair.
Oh, shit.
So, some nights we wouldn't do nothing. So, it's great overtime money because you would just sit down and do nothing. So, but other nights, like, we had this call. Like, you always had a partner, obviously. On, like, right where, you know, when you're going to Tampa, when you split off to go to Ocala and Orlando.
You said fucking, huh?
Well, I have to be, like, I don't. So, this guy, like, ran across that and got plowed by a car going 75 miles an hour.
Oh.
And
oh my god!
When we get there, the cops was like, "I hope you brought a shovel with you."
Hey,
Because yeah, like you just had to.
Nah.
Wow.
No, are you serious?
Yeah. Like,
No
yeah, they were big
way.
body parts that you just picked up, but like the other ones, you just.
No.
I got the right arm. Don't worry about it.
Yo, I need a hand.
Oh, you want
Damn.
No way! And you had to participate in this shoveling?
Yes.
Oh,
Whose
Wait.
shovel did you use?
Oh no, the truck had one.
Oh,
Like,
the
it's
truck
an
comes.
ongoing-
Oh, you
equipped
guys
with
are
a shovel.
prepared.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
know,
guys
not
are
the
ready
first
for
time.
this shoveling.
The
Okay,
truck
yeah,
comes
not the
with
first time.
That's insane. That's actually wild.
Did you spray some water afterwards to clean up the blood?
No, we don't clean it. We just take the body and go.
What's the
to
gore? All right,
end.
ready? We went gory. So might as well ask, what's the goriest one?
I guess like, for someone alive, the guy from the semi truck.
With the
Flap.
The flap and stuff, but like the dead one was that one, or like this lady, like her husband was kind of sad. I didn't go to this call, like I just heard it.
Okay.
This lady, her husband killed her and like decapitated her.
Oh shit!
And like but they didn't know she was decapitated. And when they went to pick up the body, like the head just rolled right off.
No way.
So that like they just told that story, and that one was ugh.
You know, there's some like what?
Yeah.
Like I mean, first of all, the guy had to be crazy, right, to do that.
You
Now, what? Like I would want to know what happened to get him to that point.
When you like your
Jay automatically asking that question. What does
He-
this bitch do?
No,
I
because
know it.
Cause, I mean, it doesn't like obviously the guy's crazy because you don't do some shit like that unless you're fucking mentally not stable, right? Like, so you had to be something.
he cared enough for her to keep her and her head together.
He tried putting her back together.
Yeah. He was just mad momentarily. He just realized that he couldn't super glue it. You
Crazy
can't fix
glue-
everything
Crazy
with that.
glue wasn't gonna
Like
fix
this
that
sketchy
shit,
on
homie.
that road where everything sketchy is, the bad neighborhood. There's an assisted living facility there. We go in. We were dropping off a patient. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, there's to the reception lady. What the fuck is going on here? Because there's more than 20 cop cars.
Jesus.
And she goes, oh, you know, just a nurse shot another nurse. Like, nonchalant.
What?
Like, this happens every other day. Like, how many times did you shoot her? 7 times. Like, she's a bad shot. Like, this is a reception lady.
She loaded a
She only
clip.
hit her once. I'm like, okay, I guess this is
What the
normal
fuck
here.
were they splitting or not splitting? God damn.
No, like, but in my
You took my shift, bitch.
like my company,
You
it's,
fuck my man, bitch.
my company's everywhere in the United States, and like it's global too.
Yeah.
So like in Texas, this crew went to an unknown medical problem, and they were alone, and this guy just literally opened fire at them and killed the guy, and like the girl was shot 4 times. And she managed to perform like CPR on her partner.
Laz,
until-
you're not allowed to be strapped?
No, like we can't carry anything. Like no mace, no.
I would
tasers,
lose
nothing.
my cool too quick.
Like we don't have to be nice because this is not a customer. It is customer service in a sense, but like it's not like Home Depot where you have to kiss ass. Like you can be rude to the people, like if you have to. Like you can cuss someone out if you need to.
Well, I mean, if they're not following your directions, yeah,
And
I
like
don't know what
scenes-
happened. Yeah.
My mom is because she was telling my lights to turn off in my room. She just says, "Oh, hey Google, lights off," so it turns off everything instead of telling like my ceiling fan just to turn off. Mom fucked up the production quality of the program.
Wait, which light turned off?
The ones behind us.
Ones behind you.
They turned off when he
Ready?
was gone. I just didn't say anything.
And boom.
There was lights behind us?
Well, it didn't work.
Well, they're where?
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, what you think? We're running here some fucking GhettoRig production.
This shit's official now.
So what topics did you have? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You were saying.
Nothing that, yeah, no.
We're at 140, so don't be making them crazy.
What topics did you have?
No, so Adam 22. I was gonna talk about that. That like this shit is becoming bigger and bigger. It seems like exactly what we're talking about. Do you know what we're talking about?
No.
So Adam 22 is this guy. He has a really famous podcast called
About 4 million subscribers. Not a big deal.
Yeah, not that big a deal, right?
Yeah,
called No Jumper. And then also this guy, he's married to a porn star, right? And this porn star just went and did her first male scene with someone else. And they just got married, actually. They've been together like 7 years, but they just actually got married. They have a kid together. They have
But that's a job, though.
But so this is the thing. This is how I broke it down, right? They've always done scenes together with other girls. So they'll have threesomes with the girls together. And then now she went and had a scene with a dude. And now it's kind of like, and the first thing that I noticed that I was like, for me, was like, if you reciprocated it 100%, you guys would just bang her together, kind of thing, right? Right? That's how I thought about it. But like, he kind of has hinted on his podcast and talking to other places, like he kind of wasn't 100% sound with it, right? Like he's thought about it twice. He didn't really say he's not okay with it. He didn't like say it like that, but and then apparently I saw Pearly said like that, which is this girl who does podcasts. Basically that there's something that they came out that basically hinted that she's the one who wanted to do this. That was like the one who brought it up. That's Pearly apparently said that. I haven't seen nothing towards this, but anyways, the whole story about it is like this guy. Adam 22, famous podcaster with this very famous girl, Lena the Plug, let his girl get dick down, this big black dude, right? Apparently he's got this huge fucking dick, right? So, yeah, like we were talking about the other day, actually we kind of like started listing off, like how much would they have to pay you to do this, right? And it's like, yo, like, no, it ain't happening.
I mean, but she's a porn, like you married someone that you know.
But
so
this is the thing. When they started
I think they had their own OnlyFans. Like it wasn't like an actual porn production.
Oh, okay. She wasn't like an actual porn star.
No,
I don't think so.
I mean, she is a porn star in the sense because she does actual
but
porn
she's not
with
like
her
a
husband
and stuff like that.
Correct.
She is, but she never did male scenes. She never did male scenes. She started off just doing like webcam or no Snapchat. Okay. She was just like selling her Snapchat and shit like that. That's how she started off, and then she got with him, blah blah, and then they started doing actual scenes together. Because before that, I think she had only just done girl scenes, like actual scenes. Those were only girl. Yeah. She had never been done male scenes. This was her first male scene. And after together and stuff like that. So I get what you're saying. Is she's a porn star as part of her thing, but this is the first time she's done it.
Yeah, no.
So with the porn itself, right? Like you have about maybe 50 guys that are performing, but then you have thousands of women. Like the guys are always the same, but the girls are always changing, right? And my understanding is she was not like a fully into like production type of porn, like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know from my understanding, I know they had like contracts with like big porn.
Yeah, but it was just more like, okay, well, give us your footage, we'll pay you.
No, she would actually like they would set up scenes, and then she would go with I think other porn stars and stuff because it wasn't only them two, right? She did a lot of girl scenes still on the side, from what I know of, from what I've heard.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And so, what I was gonna say was, I lost me on there.
So her. BBC getting big.
the whole thing, right? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. The other day, for the first time, I heard the the explanation that made most sense. And the guy was like, "Listen, who knew Adam 22? A very small percentage of men. Now, Elon Musk knows Adam 22." You know what I mean? So they're saying it was more of a publicity stunt. Right?
We talked about that, I think, last pod.
Yeah, than anything else. But I don't know.
Do the roar. What's up, Calvin?
Like from my elementary school.
What's a roar? I don't get it.
No, it's so like if you guys watch Shrek before, like so if the second one I think it is. Like at the beginning of the movie, they're in like a party or whatever, and there's like little kid that tells Shrek, do the roar," and that meme's just been going around. It's like a meme.
I don't get it. You gotta explain, bro.
It's like a thing.
Shrek was wanted.
No,
He was famous, so
and-
he just wanted him to roar him because
And
he
it's
wanted
just
to
been
see
like a
something
funny
scary.
thing we've been saying in the chat, like between each other. And in the scene, he says, "Do the roar," and he goes, "Do it." And
I'm not
he
gonna do the
finally
roar.
roars. And then like the little kid's like all scared and shit. He's so his dad goes, "I love you, daddy." That's what he's saying.
Like from my elementary school in Miami, this guy married this chick from OnlyFans. She does OnlyFans, but she's like 0.001%.
Okay, so she's earning.
She's making, like, she posts the things on Instagram. Like, she made, I think, in 1 month, $173,000. That's fucking crazy, though.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Man, I wish I was a hot girl.
Well, then, see, this is the problem. This is a lot of people don't realize. Like, to get to that kind of money, like, you have to
work.
Like, yeah, you have a person that responds back to the fucking comments. Like, you're not doing any of it. Like, you have a whole crew behind you that's giving you this.
Unless this girl,
it's work, actually.
unless this girl had some kind of fame beforehand, and she just did this out of like she just grew straight from this. She's probably getting piped by dudes too, like actually being basically a porn star off OnlyFans, right? Like,
yeah,
that's really it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, to get
170K, boys. Think about it.
Yeah, 170K. Like, that's fine. It's all good and dandy, but it's actually
Jay is not hip with the cool kids conversation.
I guess
there's this fire department in this area, in the tri-state counties. Because my partner on Fridays, the dude that I had the site call with, he was going through paramedic school.
The kick through the door?
No. The one that we were walking I-4.
Okay.
So him, like, he was going through paramedic school, and he always went to this department, this specific station. So like, he grew close with the firefighters, and they're like, yeah, look at one of the stations that our departments did. It was some Pornhub. I forgot the name of the video, but it's it's like 5 firefighters fucking this firefighter chick. They're all in uniform.
That shit was
But they're wearing
fire.
ski mask, and like everyone's fucking each other.
Hey,
It was like a big ass orgy. Like, why are you guys not responding to 911 calls?
So wait,
Like,
5.
Could you say that shit was
like,
fire?
each other, like the chick, everyone. Like, that's what happens, I guess.
I feel like my joke was ruined there, but
What did
Or
you say?
you said the dudes were fucking each other too. And
Yeah, what's a big ass orgy?
But
would you say it was fire? There we go. That's what I wanted.
But I know that
was the production quality good?
I know
Did it have a storyline?
A lot of nurses will get into it, and then they're like, "Fuck nursing," because I'm making a lot more money, just doing this. But majority of the time, so they're saying like, in United States, every 10th woman in United States is doing OnlyFans. Every 10th
Really?
person, yeah. Like, those are the stats, I guess. Or is it United States or LA or something like that? Anyway,
It's gotta be
that's
one,
not the
something
point.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't think United States overall,
Well,
probably.
point is, like, a lot of women are doing it, but
You
only
secretly
a
find
small
out that your
majority
mom's
of them
doing
is actually
OnlyFans.
making money. Majority of them make, like, on average, $1,000. That's on average.
Yeah, but that's still good for a part-time job, I think, and you don't really do much. But
I
take
mean,
a foot picture here and there.
yeah, the $1,000, but, like, you can become a nurse and make almost damn near
no,
six
yeah.
figures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about it. 40 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, looking good and taking pictures versus like,
Well, that's
13-hour shifts.
yeah. You're talking about taking pictures, right? Like unless.
But I
you
would
really,
assume that I feel like most of the girls on OnlyFans are just posting like pictures and like maybe videos of themselves, but not really
With their
doing.
partner,
That's
you know?
what they say they do, which a lot of times, like, you know, that's the common misconception. A lot of people will say, like, oh, you're doing OnlyFans or you're a stripper, that means you're a hoe. Well, probably not. Like, they probably might be, like, they might have a less of a body count doing that,
Yeah.
right, than a nurse per se, right? But the whole idea is, like, it's all on a group that follows you, right? Like, so if you don't do what they ask you to do, unless you already have a huge following, and you're like, nah, this is what you're getting. So if you want the extra,
Right,
it's
you
gonna cost you money.
You become like a not slave to the system, but like you have to always be
like
catering
appease the cater, yeah. Like, and if you don't have a huge following, then you kind of have to do what they ask you to do. Versus like, well, I'm not gonna do this. This is not what I do. If you don't watch me, that's fine, because I still have a following that will.
Emily's
you know?
not here.
Bye.
So I don't know, like the OnlyFans thing. I mean, I guess it's a good way to earn money. However, I think that comes with a stigma, and you know.
Yeah, there's definitely a big stigma around
Like,
it. And I mean, it's well
Yeah.
deserved.
I think if anything that's gonna like hinder hinder someone's ability to couple up. Maybe?
So I have
Or
a
become
real
president
quick topic because it actually kind of attaches to the OnlyFans thing we're going with now. You guys know the Island Boys?
Yes.
Yeah, I
seen
saw
the
that
video.
shit.
I seen the video on Instagram.
So you guys know where I'm going with this. The
Yes.
Island Boys now have like a OnlyFans, and they're like making out with each stuff, and so we're making out with each other. By the way,
That's
so
just
the
fucking
people.
weird.
All right,
That is fucking weird, bro.
right?
Us
And-
Cubans, we
and-
don't claim him. Cause
You know what's funny? You know, I saw this on another podcast. They pointed this out, and they were saying like like a lot of people were going. I find it crazy that the majority of the like not a majority, but there's a lot of comments that are just going, "That's gay, that's gay," and they're not going, "That's your brother."
what Alabama
Right?
type shit they
And
say.
so, like they like a lot of people found that reaction a little weird, which I do too, right? Because it's like okay, gay is something.
yeah,
else,
so
right?
yeah, that's your fucking brother.
Yeah, that's your brother. Incest is the problem we're looking
not
at. Here.
only like it's okay. Like if you're gay, you're gay. I get it. It's all good. But the whole idea that that's your brother.
There you go. That's the whole problem, right? And then they were saying like they got into the conversation of like, but it's like you're the genetic copy of you, and they're like making that argument. I was like, what the fuck? No.
What?
No.
It's
Who-
still a
who's-
whole different breathing person.
Yeah.
Now, what's even weirder is there's people paying for this.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Schultz was like, you know, I did it, canceled the monthly. I had to check it out. I had to see what everybody's talking about. But that's the crazy part, right? Is they're making like a base on this, right? Like they're trying to come back with something, and this is their way of getting attention is kissing each other. as
You know
twin
what?
brothers. Yo, what the fuck?
I really think there are people out there that like I really think this is my opinion that there's a very small percentage, like a super small percentage of people that are paying for this content, but that are recording this content and fucking putting this shit out and making money off of that on the side. I really think that's what's also happening as well. You know what I mean?
like,
Somebody's like
Can't you get in
stealing the
trouble that
content.
way though?
You can,
You
if you get
can,
caught.
But like for example, No Jumper themselves and a bunch of other pages have been posting them kissing. So I don't know, like it depends, I guess, on what content they've released themselves and what's like already out. And then like if it's something that's paid, right? Like you have to pay for it, then no, you can't. Release
Well, they tried doing that whole boxing video. I guess that didn't pick up, so they had
How
to
did they
go
even
with the kiss thing.
Become famous though because of that stupid song.
So apparently these
Island
kids,
Boy,
I've heard,
yeah.
I've heard there's a lot more to it. So apparently they were used to work in a gas station or like a convenience store or some shit.
Okay.
And during this time, they would be posting dumb shit on TikTok and stuff and like doing all this like social media marketing and things like that. And that's how they started becoming famous.
Yeah.
And then I heard that like, you know, this fame is really like short lived because they owe money to everyone. You know what I mean? Because like the little bit of money they got, they bought a bunch of chains, and then production
Makes
companies
sense
said,
on
well,
what-
like, we'll push you. Here's the money for it, but you have to produce.
Yeah.
They were
and
not producing. I return the money. They don't have the money.
Makes sense on why they probably were getting angry on that podcast with Logan Paul. You
Yeah,
saw they walked
yeah.
off because of the whole money conversation on like I think it was George when he was still on there was telling them like
Because they owe
What do
I
you-
think, their talent.
he said,
to produ-
but George
their-
was kind
their-
of just like,
their-
well, what do you guys like? He
doing down
their
the line,
manager.
something like
yeah,
that,
and then he kind of hinted at like as a compliment from his side, I guess, was like, oh well, you guys, I see you guys have a bunch of this jewelry. At least like you know, you guys have this jewelry to fall back on. Like that's like an insurance in a sense, right? Like you have $100,000, and they like took insult to that and like walked
I mean,
off.
now
because
look
they're-
at them
I-
kissing each other.
Yeah.
Apparently they owe
That was
money
a
to
clip right
their
there.
manager and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because in
Makes sense.
reality, like, to me, that's like the whole idea that they fucking even got any type of airtime is fucking crazy to me.
Right.
That's just fucking that.
I mean, I think it's today's generation because the Catch Me Outside girl. Why? From the girl from Dr. Phil?
Yeah.
I think there's
Now look, she's a fucking millionaire.
Well, no, I think this is what happened. Bunch of pedos saw her there and thought she's cute, and now that she was
Well,
of
the
age, she
reason-
opened her OnlyFans
the
and they
reason
stopped
she
paying
caught
for it.
the reason she caught traction, which is the same reason I think that the Island Boys caught traction, is not because they looked at them and they're entertained because they're looking at them going, how fucking stupid are
yeah.
they? That's the whole reason they're entertaining.
Yeah, but do you pay for someone's OnlyFans because they're fucking stupid? To me, that makes no sense.
They made them do it.
That
They
girl
got-
made $50
how many
million
how many
It
in
is a
1
point
year.
where she
Biggie,
said,
you want
though,
to check out how many
like, it's a bunch of
subscribers they have on
creeps who
OnlyFans
are-
yet?
Yeah, that's
got
what I'm saying.
Island
I
It's
think,
a whole bunch
Boys.
of creeps.
I think that's what it was. Bunch of pedos were like, oh man, I want to see this girl naked. Now she's 18. I can do it
And
legally.
let me circle back really quick to the guy that would make you go like this.
Uh-huh.
That fat motherfucker. We got a call for chest pain for his brother. Like we show up with the rescue, they're getting arrested for child pornography.
Oh shit.
So how do you arrest the whale is beyond me. Like I wanted to see, like they had to call a whole
the
different,
whale.
like, because it was the FBI, the sheriffs, everyone was there at the house. So I told the sheriff, like, how do you guys transport him? And he goes, we don't know. Like he's handcuffed on top of the bed, so we're trying to figure out what to do with him because he weighed 750 pounds. Like, how do you get him?
It's the brother, not this dude.
Both of them were like him and his brother were.
There's
both
no
participating.
information on
And
that.
how big was the brother?
Oh, the brother was normal size.
Okay.
So yeah, he was fine.
They had to like take the roof off the house and forklift him out, helicopter strap him up.
Like, so that's my question though. Like, do you go to the jail cell or do you stay in the hospital?
See, this is,
room?
I think this is what happens. Like, you know, this is like why I'm kind of against the whole porn thing, because a lot of times what happens, like a lot of dudes will get into this whole thing, and then with every time they get in this hit of dopamine, it needs to be fucking upped and upped and up, and that they start getting into the weird type of porn, and now like they're looking at, you know, things like S&M and things like that, and then now they're like, well, that's not enough. Let's look at children and shit like that. You know what I mean?
But I feel like there's a line somewhere though.
Yes.
So that's
Like, there's a thick line.
and
Even
I
if
think
you
this is the
fucking-
Hey,
Five
hey,
times a
hey,
day, I think
hey,
a normal
hey.
person
Granny
would still-
porn is not weird.
Hey, bro, that's the extreme of what we're talking about. Right? She's over 18. She's way over 18.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, like some of this weird shit that people will get into is due to like this dope. Like I'm not saying some people are not attracted to that. Yeah, there's a small contingent of people that are attracted to that specific type of genre, but it's usually an escalation that starts like
starts
light
mild
and
and
then-
it
and then
escalates.
and that's all because like we don't like we naturally have to like imagine what the girl's body looks like, right? Like if we're talking about a girl, right?
Yeah.
Girl's body looks like we imagine this, right? Like now when it's out in the open, when does this usually happen? When you're naked in bed with somebody. So it's like an open invitation to like your brain doesn't, like your lizard brain sends these signals. Hey yo, she's like, she wants you. That's why she's naked in front of you, right?
So, how long you think this Island Boys thing will go? What if in what?
I think it's over now.
And if you no,
Oh, no.
I have this question. If they could do something else even crazier, what would be the next thing?
Oh, they're going
They
full
just
way.
smash each other.
Yeah,
They just fuck each other.
Or get arrested for some dumb shit.
for fucking each other for incest. Can you get arrested for that?
I feel like that should be illegal.
Not if they do it in Alabama or Kentucky.
or Arkansas.
Yo, West Virginia.
Because like the video that my buddy sent me, it wasn't a peck. It was a full
No.
tongue.
They were making
Yeah.
out.
Because like they
Yeah, I
started
saw
with
it on
pecks, I think.
Instagram. Nah, man.
And apparently, I heard on the Schultz pod or some other pod, like they were like the videos of them on OnlyFans like rubbing up on each other and.
So, so one of the podcasts, like Fresh and Fit podcast, had a girl over, and she was a porn star. I think she was in porn, but then apparently she was dating one of the Island Boys, and then he pretty much cut her off. Pretty much said like we're breaking up, and she was like heartbroken that he broke up with her. And this girl was fairly good looking. She had a kid, but she was in porn also. You know what I mean? So, but to me was like, are you like? Because you're looking at the girl, she's super attractive. Even if she has a kid, even if she does porn, there would be dudes out there lined up to date her, right? Like, Island Boy? Really? Like,
I think the Island Boys are gonna get another podcast tour. That's all they're gonna get,
Here?
maybe. No, I'm good.
I don't know if
At this point, I wouldn't even want to have them on.
it would be difficult.
Even at this, even though I'll keep my 6 loyal viewers and not have those motherfuckers.
No,
on.
I mean, what would be chances of you turning around and decking one of them in the face after they say some out of pocket shit?
There's that chance.
You know what I mean?
You know who would be a great?
Or they start kissing on the couch. I think me and you just RNC them both.
I'll be like, back and stop it.
You know who would be
Stop
the
it.
most entertaining podcast guest?
Huh.
Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden.
He's got some stories.
Oh, dude, did you see that motherfucker had a whole gallery? So apparently there's this gallery that's been very favorable toward DNC, and they donate a bunch of money. So apparently Hunter Biden's been fucking painting or doing paintings and arts and shit. So they opened a fucking whole ass gallery for him to sell his paintings.
I can't pull it out.
Yeah, and it's like they're talking about like majority of these paintings are when he's probably like
I mean,
high on something.
Dope
Yeah.
that it was
that's like an insane interview. It's like, so how do you launder all the money?
I want to ask him what it's like to be doing 175 and smoking crack at the same time.
Yeah, that's.
I'll never do that, so I want to get his perspective.
Yeah.
You heard about that? They caught him like he was posting him doing like 175 miles an hour, and like they got him, and he had like crack on him. He was doing crack and all that. Because Hunter Biden the crack, right? I guess he's still on his binge. He's never come off, or will he ever come off?
I mean, it would be pretty difficult to get off a crack binge. You know what I mean? Like once you're on a crack binge is it. You know what I mean? Like that's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it would be difficult to get off that type of drug.
Last thing before we end today. So there, you guys seen the draw? So you know the Nelk Boys?
Yeah.
Happy Dad, the drink.
No.
Full Send podcast, none of that. No?
So Nelk Boys basically.
They started off doing pranks.
Yeah, they started doing pranks, and then for a long time they were with Logan and them, right?
No.
Steve will do it.
So Steve will do it as part of
the Nelk Boys.
So the head of him is Kyle. This guy, he's a Canadian, right? I think he's from Toronto.
Oh, so Steve was part of it. That dude
Kyle's from what I know of is like mastermind of the whole operation, from what I've heard.
Kyle Forgered.
I don't know his last name.
That's his last name.
Okay. Basically, these guys have a podcast, right? Really, really famous. They've had Trump. They've had like a
Andrew Tate.
They have all the controversial, high popular people, right? And they're really like intertwined with UFC. They have, I think, Dana White deals with UFC. They're really good friends with Dana White. Last year, Kyle got $250,000 from Dana White on his birthday. He was like, "Here, this is your gift." And anyways, so they guys have a podcast, right? And then Andrew Schultz, the comedian.
Yeah.
Okay. So he has a podcast and stuff too. They invite Andrew Schultz to their pod, and this was back in April of 2022. They recorded this.
Isn't that the one where he got pissed off because the questions were stupid or some shit like that?
That's what I'm going with this. So, basically, he goes on the pod, and Steiny, which is this guy that's part of the Nelk Boys, and he's always like the troll, right? He's always supposed to be like the airhead, and at this point, like he admits that that's just how he is, and that's not really the character he plays. It's just how he is with his life or whatever, right? Well, this is how he says.
Yeah.
And he gave Andrew a bunch of really, really, what Andrew thought dumb questions, kind of like, have you ever been heckled before? Or do fans do that? Do they heckle you? Or do you have conversations with fans and da da da? And so Andrew looked at it as like him coming off as like trying to be a smartass and like just asking these really dumb questions, and Andrew started getting like talking back and getting like being not a troll back, like from what I saw was more of like being really dry and like kind of starting to be a dick, because from what he saw like they were like messing with him, so he kind of became defensive, and back and forth, like during the pod, like it's getting to a point where like Andrew's like calling him out on it, right? Like are you like the leader of this thing? Like how does this whole work? Like you guys is dynamic, and then like he talks about Steve, he talks about that, and then he like starts going into Steiny, and he's talking about like, are you really like this? Like I have a really small tolerance for people when they're just putting on a character versus like when they're being genuine. That like he starts basically going into him in a polite but kind of like stern manner, and Steiny's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like I'm just asking you, like this is just how this usually is, and like Andrew goes as far as asking them like, are you guys really like friends? Like is this like legit? Like you guys don't sit around and bust balls and like, and they're all looking at each other like, bro, what are you talking about? Like this, it was just us. And I guess that maybe dynamics just didn't match because maybe where they're from, the culture setup didn't match. And bro, they got like into each other at the end, because Steiny's kind of like, yo, like why are you being like this? And Steiny's even like looking around like, is this set up? Like is this scripted or something? Like you guys trying to fuck with me? And like Andrew's going in on him like why are you like this? And like are you genuinely trying to like do this? Like are you for real? And like asking kind of the guys around him indirectly, like you guys not really saying it, but you kind of like being like, you guys deal with this guy kind of thing. And I was so astonished by it. And then apparently like Andrew reached out and was like, oh, I don't really want the pod out. And then also Steiny was also saying I don't want it. So this was from back in 2022. And then what happened was their manager, this guy named Mike, I think his name is Mike, he was on a pod, and they asked him a question like, oh, do you guys have any pods you guys haven't released? Like, has anything crazy happened? You guys haven't been able to put it out? And he goes, oh, there's one with Andrew Schultz, blah, blah. And that's how everybody figured out.
Okay.
The Nelk Boys did a podcast responding, And then when they did their pod responding, Andrew responded, was like, release the pod, this and that, and went on to kind of say, like, for his side of the story was that he felt like they didn't, like, either two things. They were trying to troll him, and he responded how he wanted to respond, or that they didn't actually know who he was. That they maybe did, like, a little research before, and they didn't really genuinely know who he was, so that's why they were asking these, what he thought was stupid questions. And then he was like, and if it was like that, you guys really didn't know who it was, I'm sorry, I apologize for being like that, this and that. And then moved on from it. But the pod is pretty intense. It's actually really entertaining, because it's funny though, because Andrew frames it really well. He talks about how the pod is so much better this way, because if they would have released it and just released it how it was back in the day, it would have been a shit pod. Everybody would have looked at him like, yo, this shit is off, dynamic is off, and nobody would have, like, everybody would have just ignored it probably, and if they wouldn't have put the cloud around it. But now there's cloud around it, and there's this story. When you go watch the pod, you're expecting them to get into it, and for them to be kind of off. And so it's really entertaining, actually, that way, which I thought was funny, because if they didn't have the dynamic around it, this cloud of, like, them getting into it, you wouldn't be entertained watching it. It wouldn't have the same effect.
I see that.
It's 100% true. I watched the whole thing. You guys should watch it. It's pretty. I've
already watched it.
It's pretty entertaining. What do you? Have you guys seen any clips of it or anything? So Miguel, you said you've watched the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
What's your perspective? I feel that when I'm watching it, I kind of like, because I've watched a bunch of Nelk Boys Full Send podcasts, right? So you kind of know how Steiny is. Mm-hmm. And so I felt that it was kind of Andrew more like,
he was on the spot. I mean, he called it as he saw it, and he was very blunt about it. Maybe he could have toned it down a little bit.
Do you like what I'm trying to say?
Okay, I mean, you could say that I am, sure, but I respect the way that he did it. He wasn't a complete, total dickhead about it.
I kind of was.
In
the sense that he was,
I feel like he called it out as he did.
But he was kind of being I felt like he felt attacked in some kind of way, so he started being a dick.
It's just so hard to tell.
That's the way I would paint it, right? Like, he started feeling
you don't know what you just don't know what's going through their brains.
Messing with him, so he started being a dick.
I mean, they had, what's his name? They had Hezbollah on their pod. You know, they bring him up.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was.
It's a little hard to watch, because you gotta watch, like, the dynamic isn't like really back and forth, because you're watching. They edit it to where you're watching Full Send do their questions, and then you're watching Hezbollah talk with the subtitles, but there's no translation.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I haven't watched that.
Maybe you should watch it, and we can maybe talk about it on Thursday.
Yeah, for sure.
You should watch it,
for
and
sure.
so I want to get your insight, because I feel that that he went to, like, he made the situation even more awkward.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, Andrew Schultz was already pretty popular.
I can agree with that.
Right?
Hell yeah.
Like,
that's why I said he didn't do it in the best way.
Right.
He had definitely to tone it down.
And he started going at him at the end.
Yeah, because he felt like, oh, you don't think I can do crowd work? Let me do crowd work on you.
I don't know.
But was he funny?
No, it was not funny.
Well, then.
Well, it's funny because you got it's entertaining because of the cloud.
Of what's going on, yeah.
If it was, like I said, if this would have just been released with no context around it, it wouldn't have been funny.
People would have still ate it up and made
because I don't think
it would have been as big as it is now.
I don't think they would invite Andrew Schultz if they didn't know who Andrew Schultz was. Like, let's just be honest here.
Who knows? Because
that's who's this kid? What's his name?
Steiny.
Isn't he like the white kid, the kind of little chubbier, chubby?
No, he's not chubby.
No.
Anyways, 2 hours. Let's call it.
Yes, sir.
You guys, all right. Thank you, Lazarito, for coming in, brother.
I
appreciate it.
Thanks,
We'd love to have you back. I'm sure you got some more stories. If you'd like to, we'll have you on again.
Instead of talking to your supervisor, you can come talk to us.
Thank you for coming again, brother. Really appreciate it. Everybody who came in the chat, I thank you again. You guys have a good night. Make sure to hit the like button before you head out. And that's about it. You guys have a great night. Love you all.